Podcast.
We are here coming to you live.
The Kansas City Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. You only win a Super Bowl 2 times every 5 years, right? Oh!
The warm-up act is over. Let's bring in Melissa Etheridge, massive Chiefs fan. Melissa.
Super Bowl champion, 2-time Pro Bowler, and Trent Green. Trent Green, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
And he picked it up! He picked it up! He's gonna score! And we'll see you next week, but until then, as always, go Chiefs.
Welcome in. It's the Arrowhead Addict podcast from FanDuel. We're here on Radio Row Friday at the Super Bowl. Pass it down. Sterling Holmes. We're opening this thing up.
I know. I was going to do it. It's called a reveal. It's called a reveal. I know. I was here.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't afford it, man. I got to get in the league, you know? They don't pay it. We appreciate you coming out. You just got here for the round. All right, so I got to ask you, who's your favorite wide receiver? Is there somebody you know? Sure. We went from Bijan to Julio Jones, pretty cute right there. It's crazy. We got a lot of Bijan chats. It surprised me a little bit. I guess I'm a little bit older.
Oh, you guys didn't watch Jerry.
Yeah.
Although he did play for a long time.
Definitely.
We get a lot of Julio, too. Did you watch Julio?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely one of my favorite players.
One
too.
of my most interesting ones I get is Keenan Allen,
for
your
sure.
teammate.
Yeah.
What is he like as a leader? Because it seems like a lot of the younger generation of guys, they look up to him, his consistency, what he's been able to do year after year, especially at his size.
Yeah.
What has Keenan Allen been for you as a leader?
Yeah, for sure. And then kind of just from the outside looking in, like you have a certain level of appreciation for him in his game, but actually being there with him day in and day out, it kind of gives you just that much more of appreciation for him. Just seeing how hard he works, still 10 plus years in, it's like he still works like this is his first year, and he's trying to earn a spot on the team, which obviously has the spot on the team. But just watching him in meetings, kind of picking his brain about different stuff, how he applies meetings and film to the field and stuff like that is just amazing to watch. And definitely a good guy to kind of model my game after.
Yeah, and it's got to be cool watching him. A lot of guys, they get to around 28 and teams start, he's going to start losing a step. Keenan was unbelievable this year.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you noticed anything he does? Is there a way that he prepares, takes care of his body to make sure he can continue playing at a high level?
Yeah, for sure. Just a lot of prehab stuff. A lot of people, don't want to wait until you have to do rehab. He does prehab stuff. So, I guess ice bath, stuff like that. Nothing crazy. But he's different stretches and stuff like that. We go in the weight room. Excuse me. His stuff, his weights and stuff is modified. Because he has been in the league this long.
Yeah.
But as far as you saying, how he plays, like I was actually surprised. Especially going into that first camp, and kind of just coming in watching him, like, okay, he's still moving like he's my age. And then it was crazy because then I realized I'm like, he's 31. Like, how's he doing this? But nah, that was pretty cool to see.
Hopefully 31 is still good for me.
Definitely is.
As I'm getting ready to go into my 30s, I'm getting a little nervous. 31 I hear is still pretty young. Still pretty young.
Sure.
When it comes to you this year transitioning from college into the NFL, what was the hardest part for you? Obviously, you came on strong at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Was there a learning period? Obviously, some of that came with opportunity as well.
Yeah, for sure.
But what was the transition like for you for college to the NFL?
Yeah, for sure. It was different, especially going into the preseason and then having a season. Obviously, wasn't used to a season being that long. 9, 10 games max, 12, whatever. And then you come into the league, and then you get to that number, and then you're usually like, okay, like this one I need to start winding down, getting ready for off season. Coach like, nah, we got like 8 more games left. Like, what?
Yeah, the big games start.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, okay, now football's starting for real.
Yeah,
like,
right.
was that just a warm up? But yeah, definitely that. Just all around learning how to be a pro. Because because you make it to this level, you still have to learn how to be a pro, and that comes with routines, nutrition, how you carry yourself outside of the field. Because now obviously you got more eyes on you, so just learning to adapt to all of that.
A lot of times when a top receiver comes into the league, they're getting drafted highly. They come onto a bad team, a team that's got a lot of holes in it. The Chargers have a really talented roster. Oftentimes they don't have a good quarterback. That is not the case. You come in with Justin Herbert. What kind of leader is him, and what's it like catching balls from that guy?
Yeah, for sure. Amazing, for sure. Coming in, he's one of those guys that you come in and almost just sit there and look at because you're almost starstruck, and then you realize you guys are on the same team. So, you get very excited about that. But yeah, from day one, he would come up to me and be like, if there's anything that I need from him, just ask him, pick his brain about anything. And then, he's definitely, helped my process. Been a lot easier this season.
You've gone against the Kansas City Chiefs twice now. They're in the Super Bowl here.
Yeah.
What challenges do they bring? What do those cornerbacks bring? The length, the strength, and what do you see from Spagnuolo trying to take you out of the game there? Definitely physical players that can go the distance for sure. Very very physical, very fast, very disciplined and stuff like that. So I feel like that's the main thing, and they've been doing it for so long, week to week consistently. That's what obviously got them to this point.
Was there a player on the Chiefs that gave you the most trouble in coverage?
I guess Snead for sure. A lot of jump jams, a lot of in my face type of stuff. But it was fun to go against him.
Yeah, he's a physical guy. It was funny. His teammate Trent McDuffie made the All-Pro team. Snead didn't even make the Pro Bowl, but he had an incredible year. Was that a big snub in your eyes?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Were you watching NFL Honors last night? Did you try and catch up on all those things?
A little bit of it.
Were you surprised on anything? Anything that surprised you?
Nah, not too much. Not too much for sure. I was cool on it.
Have you had a chance to talk to Coach Harbaugh yet?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
What did he say to you when he called you?
He reached out to me, I think, a day or two after he got hired. And then I was like, Coach, let's get on the call. And the first thing we talked about was that Michigan versus TCU game that we had. Had to bring that up for sure.
Yeah.
So that was a good little I guess icebreaker if you want to call it for us. So we had a good long talk, just talking about this upcoming season, different expectations and stuff like that. So it was good to catch up with him.
Yeah. Who was the toughest cornerback you went up against this year? Who was the guy you're like, oh man, come on, I thought I was gonna cook you in.
The toughest. I've been going against a lot of tough ones, but the toughest one I feel like for me was probably Sauce Gardner for sure. Just patience at the line, patience in the secondary movement, and then overall size. You can't really just teach size and then moving like that. But yeah, for sure, a great challenge for me, and I'm still looking forward to going against him in the future.
Now, you talked about the difference of the extra games going from college to the pros. What about the style of defense, the types of defenders you're going after? Obviously, you got so many college teams. A lot of times, you're the best player out on the field in a college game. Guys are giving you a lot more space.
Yeah.
What was it like going up against NFL-style coverages?
Yeah, for sure. At first, I guess it was kind of frustrating, but then you step back and learn to just appreciate it more because it forces you to kind of change your game, be more patient, think more, be more mindful of what's going on instead of just going and doing it. And that's some things I picked up from Kenan. Kind of just being patient at the line because he's in my opinion one of the best route runners in the league right now. He's always patient. In his routes, he's reading defense and stuff like that. So I feel like the main thing just doing that, and just getting adjusted to it.
When did you know you were going to the Chargers? Did you have a nice long process leading up to the combine OTA? Were they in touch with you, or was it a little bit of a surprise?
No,
called you?
That was actually a surprise. So I think I talked to him once, if that. So it was a surprise, good surprise though. For sure. Came out to Cali, good weather. I think we had like probably a day or two where it was kind of cold. Other than that, it's been all clear skies. So you can't really beat that. So
Right.
Yeah, no complaints here for sure.
Was there a team that you did talk to a lot that you were surprised didn't take you?
I wouldn't say I was surprised they didn't take me, but a team I was talking to a lot was the Texans for sure.
Okay, cool.
What was your experience like at TCU on that team?
Yeah.
I mean, that was just such a incredible run. I'm from Kansas City, so
Gotcha.
the Midwest. We root for I went to Mizzou. Not the Bamas, the Georgias. It's kind of fun to root for a little bit of the
the underdog, if you will.
For sure.
What was that experience like for you? That run?
It was amazing for us. I feel like we didn't really realize how good we were doing until we got a chance to look back on it after the season, because honestly, we were just in the moment, just having fun. Those guys, minus a few people I've been with since I first got in, and some 6 years, like Darius Davis, and then obviously we had Max. They've been with each other, even a year before I got there. So I feel like the years leading up to that, the chemistry was just kept building and building and building, and then we got our shot and we took it, and it was very fun to going and run with those guys.
So as fans, we sit here, we watch you guys on the field, we see what you do. You're incredibly talented. We don't always get the behind-the-scenes stuff. Who's the funniest guy in the Chargers locker room?
The funniest guy, honestly, Chanen, for sure. From early in the morning, it'll be 6 o'clock in the morning. He'll come in there with his coffee and stuff, and he's turning everybody up, even in the meeting room. So it's always good to have him around.
Do you guys have a hoop in that locker room?
It's a mini hoop in the back by the defense. I don't really go back there because I don't know.
Who's the best baller?
The best baller. Honestly, I haven't seen really too many people balling there. I heard some opinions, but for right now, I'm gonna go with me.
Yeah, those GMs don't like
that.
6'4", they don't like
for sure.
they don't like them playing hoops in the offseason.
Yeah, for sure.
Ankle injuries.
What was the combine like for you trying to get ready for that? I love asking this question because you train for the combine differently than you train for, honestly,
for sure,
games.
Yeah.
You're not running a 40-yard dash with no pads on. What was your training process to get ready for the combine?
For sure. So my personal training process was kind of sped up because we went so long in the season before, so it was kind of playing catch up at that time. I was trying to take a little break. Honestly, took probably like a half a week, jumped straight into it, and like you said, it's different than training for a game. I'm training almost like it was a track meet. I was doing a lot of fast twitch stuff, a lot of straight yard, straight line running, getting my starts and stuff like that, right? So that was the main thing, just focusing on that, focusing on kind of just things to do like my vertical, obviously routes and stuff, but that was kind of given I was still polished stuff from the week before when we had the game. So it was fun though, for sure. Definitely a good experience.
What do you think is the hallmark of your game right now? I mean, obviously everybody wants to be a well-rounded receiver, and you have to be in the NFL. But what would you say is the best part of your game? Is it getting off the line? Is it your route running? Is it your hands? Is it your speed?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like right now just my twitchiness at my size, and then I still feel like what I can do with the ball is pretty good. Coming off of last season, I still am kind of in like a growing stage. I feel like for myself, just kind of getting all the way settled in and bringing what I was doing in college, to the league, which I'm 100% confident about that.
Sweet.
Hey, Quentin, I gotta ask you a favor. Before I let you go, please don't kill the Chiefs. I'm rooting for you every other game, okay?
Yeah, for sure.
Please don't kill the Chiefs. There's
sure.
a lot of Chiefs fans that wanted you to come to Kansas City, right? A lot of Chiefs fans. So now you're on the rival side.
Yeah.
Please don't kill us.
Sure.
We've been watching Keenan Allen and Mike Williams always have big games against us.
Mike Williams always bossing our guys.
Yeah, for sure.
So please don't do that. As obviously the game, Super Bowl Sunday, who do you have winning this one?
That's hard, man, because I got some of my homeboys on both. So D. Winters was our linebacker at TCU. He's with the 49ers, and then my boy Rasheed Rice, and then Patrick and all them. I have a pretty good relationship with those guys too.
Texas connection right there.
Yeah, for sure, man. So it's hard to say. Honestly, whoever wins, I'll be satisfied. I'll be sure to send my congratulations out to those guys.
Well, Quentin Johnston, one of the rising stars in the NFL, here on the Arrowhead Addict podcast. We appreciate you for coming by.
Appreciate you guys.
Hey, thanks,
sure.
man.
Yeah,
hey,
sure.
Again, good luck in 15 games next year.
Sure. Yeah,
now those two.
Yeah, for sure.
Take care, Quentin. Thank you.
Oh, man.
All right, that's Quentin Johnston of the Chargers hanging out with us. All right, next up we're going to have Clay Harbor coming. Thank you, man. Yeah, I appreciate you. We're going to have Clay Harbor coming up, former tight end, played for a bunch of teams in the NFL. Good morning, by the way. We had a quick start today. We got here early. We had some donuts. I don't know about you guys. It's not as late.
I had a half a donut. I got it taken away. They're sitting here like they're telling me something, subtly telling me something. I get that I've been eating a little unhealthy here in Vegas. Didn't know I was gained that much weight.
A little. I saw one of the guys in the chat call you skinny fat the other day.
Who did that?
I don't know. I can't remember who it was, but
You were correct.
Stop it
Whoever
with-
called
stop
me
it with the
skinny
body
fat, you're
shaming.
correct. You can keep it up with me. I don't mind.
yeah.
And yes, you're right. I'm not in a suit today. I was not going to be in a suit from 7 a.m. and do my flight home, which I get back at 11. Sorry, that is not going to. An 18-hour day in a suit sounds like a bad day.
Yeah. We're getting down to it, man. We're going to have to make sure we don't forget to put in our predictions before the end of the show today. We're going to be going for a couple of hours. We've got a pretty good lineup coming. So make sure if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button. We had a meetup last night in the lobby of the Mandalay Bay. Hundreds of Chiefs fans showed up to see us.
Thousands.
If you didn't make it out, that's on you. That's on you. But hopefully, next year the Chiefs will be right back in the Super Bowl in the Big Easy, man.
Yeah.
New Orleans next year.
Yeah.
You excited about that one?
Very excited. Can we just do it though in maybe a city that doesn't have a place where bars stay open very late? Can we do it like, I don't know.
I know, man.
Like Green Bay, Duluth?
Are you gonna go earn some beads when you get down there?
No. How do you earn beads, Patrick?
Huh?
How do you earn beads,
I
Patrick?
wouldn't know, but I hear it's a thing. I hear if handsome young men lift up their shirts, they get beads.
If I lifted my shirt.
Yeah.
You don't want to see
I
me
would.
lift up my shirt. We do want to see Patrick lift up his shirt because if we get to $1,000, you see it in the chat, you see it in the YouTube. If we get to $1,000, this man to the left of me, Patrick Allen, is getting a tattoo.
That's what they say. That's what they say I'm gonna have to do.
No. That's what you said. We are $685. We're getting to 1,000. This is for a great cause for the Special Olympics. So let him get a tattoo and also donate to a great cause.
Great cause. We'll figure it out if you guys pull it off. We'll figure it out.
Jimmy's asking me if I skip leg day. No, I try and do leg day. I hate leg day.
Legs are the only thing I got going for me. I used to run. I do the Peloton.
You like ZZ Top?
It
You
looks
got
fantastic.
legs?
If I could cut myself off at the waist and then replace my upper body with like Shannon Sharp's, I'd look fantastic.
No, you wouldn't.
No, you don't think we're proportion out?
Think this through, Patrick. If you had your body now, and then all of a sudden you had Shannon Sharp's top, you'd have a good soul patch. I'll give you that one.
Yeah, that's
But
true. That's true.
I don't know about that one.
Quentin Johnston was cool, man. I know, obviously, rival of the Chiefs, but it was interesting talking to him, hearing about his thoughts on the Kansas City. And a running theme that we've seen since we've been talking to guys down here, whose name comes up when we ask about DB?
Deshaun Jackson at wide receiver.
Wide receiver, but DBs for the Chiefs,
L'Jarius Sneed. But I always find it interesting as far as the wide receivers they model their game after.
Yeah.
Deshaun Jackson has been a name that comes up perpetually, it feels like. Maybe we all know how good he was, but I guess if you are a legitimate wide receiver when you're growing up in high school, middle school, and you get to college, that seemingly is a guy that everyone tries to model their game after.
Yeah, man, and he played for a long time. Like, he could get out there right now. He still has the speed. That's the thing that's incredible, is in the last few years, in the very, very, very twilight of his career, he's gone out there and had a couple of big plays here and there for teams. Obviously, had some injury issues. That's what happens when you get old. And a lot of Julio Jones. Guys really like Julio Jones' game. But, yeah, it does make me feel old that guys aren't coming up here and they're not like, oh, yeah, man, Jerry, the GOAT, right? That's the guy I model my game at.
I'm shocked we've not got a single John Baldwin.
I
am shocked we have not got Mark Bo Richter.
Mark Bo Richter.
Dwayne Bowe would be actually good.
Yeah.
Eddie Kinnison. Like, why isn't Eddie Kinnison? He was really solid.
Underrated.
Why isn't Eddie Kinnison getting any love from these guys?
Eddie Kinnison was terrific for the Chiefs. But we've not had a history of like incredible wide receivers. We've been like running backs, tight ends, like going way back in the Chiefs. Not as illustrious. All right, so we've interviewed 1 billion people this week.
1,000,000,001.
Are they we ask almost all of them what they think is going to happen in the game. Is it are the opinions swaying you one way or the other, or are you more confused now than when you got here?
I am perpetually confused. Look at my face.
That's a fact. Yeah.
Watch me play blackjack. I am perpetually confused.
Yeah.
No, man. I'm still really confident the Chiefs win. I think the players kind of have I think they've been pretty split. I've been trying to keep a tally. I lost track of the tally.
Yeah.
But it was about 50-50 Niners and Chiefs. Maybe a little bit more like 55 Chiefs, 45 Niners.
Yeah.
But what it comes down to, almost everyone that picks the Kansas City Chiefs, it comes down to Patrick Mahomes. They keep saying, you know what, the team that has 15, how do you go against them?
Yeah.
You know, they've talked about the Niners' offensive line, defensive line, weapons, Debo, CMC, Brandon Ayuk. You know, I think they actually do have a pretty solid defense. If you look at some of the scoring numbers, they're great. If you look at some of the underlying metrics, the 49ers defense might be a little bit overrated.
Not as good as in the past.
Not as good as in the past. But again, everyone comes down to one thing: 15.
Yeah, and it's just one game. By the way, we got a question here in the chat. What's the most heartbreaking loss, Chiefs playoff loss, for both of you? Pre-Mahomes era, of course.
For me, I think it's either the Titans won or the Colts won. Marcus Mariota catching a touchdown pass from himself. When I saw Lamar Jackson do that, I was terrified. And the other one is the Colts game where the Chiefs offense put up an absurd amount of points. They had a massive lead just for Andrew Luck to fumble, get on his own fumble, and score a touchdown.
Yeah. For me, it was the game with Trent Green, Dick Vermeil against Peyton Manning and the Colts, the game where no one punted.
Well, as Eli Manning just walked by.
Oh, did he?
That was a pretty good segue there.
That was so frustrating and so heartbreaking because that team was so fun and explosive offensively. And then in the second half of the year, they kind of fell apart defensively and just couldn't really stop anybody. And it was a game where, like, okay, you know you're going up against Manning. It's going to be really hard. You really want to beat him. And the Chiefs were down, and then Dante Hall, had a return for a touchdown. The Chiefs were back in it. And they, of course, just didn't end up winning that game. And it's just like that's what it's been like my entire Chiefs fandom is what Patrick Mahomes is doing to the rest of the league right now. It was like for the first, 35 years of my life, there's all these great quarterbacks. They're not on our team. And even when our team is plucky and gets in there and has a chance to win, those dudes get the ball. They break our hearts. They send us home crying. And now we're on the other side of that. And, man, I am just enjoying every minute of it. It's so cool to know that your team always has a chance. Like,
always.
There's been, I can count on one hand the number of, blowout losses the Chiefs have had since Patrick Mahomes has been the quarterback. Unfortunately, one of those was in a Super Bowl. But,
Sure.
I mean, it's incredible. They're just never out of it. Never. Even when they play, complete dog shit, they'll lose by, 4 points.
You know you're never out of it when you go to FanDuel.
FanDuel, baby.
FanDuel. If you've not downloaded the FanDuel app yet, you'll definitely want to take advantage of this offer before the big game. New users who sign up through our link must deposit $10 and place a first wager of $5 on any live bet. If that first bet wins, you'll receive $200 in bonus bets straight to your account. This offer is only available if you sign up through our link, bit.ly/Arrow200. You can find that link in the description below our stream, as well as scan the QR code on screen to start signing up. Again, the link is bit.ly/Arrow200. This offer will end shortly after the game, so make sure you don't miss out. Offers only available to new customers who are 21 plus and physically present in legal gambling states. Please remember to always gamble responsibly and check the episode description for the link and the full terms of the offer.
Let's check in on the Chiefs injury report from Thursday. Bad news, Joe Thuney, still a DNP at this point. He just has today. And while he was optimistic, or at least I say hopeful, he was hopeful, it doesn't look like he's going to be out there. Jerick McKinnon was limited Wednesday and Thursday. Your guy, Richie James, full participant, as was most of these other guys on the injury report. Chris Jones, Sky Moore, Isaiah Pacheco, all for full participants. Rashee Rice was limited. He has an ankle injury. Our guy, Sports Illustrated's Matt Verderam, former co-host of the Arrowhead Addict podcast, frequent guest, tweeted yesterday that his understanding is that Rice's injury is not serious, so they're just resting him up. He went from full on Wednesday to limited on Thursday, so that was probably just a situation where maybe a little swelling, a little bit of pain, and they're like, all right, you know what? You're good. You know what the game plan is. It's been 2 weeks. Rest up. And then Clyde Edwards-Helaire was limited. That one doesn't seem to be serious either. So the Chiefs will be at nearly full strength for this one.
Yeah, the interesting one for me is Jerick McKinnon. On the 6th, a couple days ago, Andy Reid said Jerick is not practicing. I'd tell you it's slim for him to be out there for the Super Bowl. But now he's getting at least some LPs. We all assumed that he was done for the year. We thought there was zero chance after the, was it a pelvic injury as well? He had some surgery. And
he was banged up.
We thought he was done for the year. I don't think he goes. I still think it is, as Andy Reid said a few days ago, more of a long shot. But again, him getting some LPs, makes it at least a little interesting. The good thing is Clyde Edwards-Helaire has really stepped into a nice backup role.
Yeah.
Like, whatever your thoughts are on Clyde being drafted in the first round, we all agree that was a bad draft pick. Issue is it's a sunk cost. So what do? Use him now in the best way you possibly can. And him as a backup to Isaiah Pacheco has been, quite frankly, pretty refreshing.
Yeah, and with Jerick McKinnon, they did activate him. They had to off the IR list, so that's promising. Look, I mean, it's the Super Bowl, so if you're Andy Reid and you're putting together the roster, you've got to look at who you need and where you want depth in case things happen, and it's all your chips on the table. So is it a backup defensive lineman that you think you need the depth in? Is it a linebacker? Like, how are you going to do it? But if Jerick McKinnon is at least close to being ready to go, maybe you go into this one and say, we like Jerick McKinnon as our third running back, emergency running back, better than we like X or Y or Z player. So even though we may not play him, we're going to have him active for the game because it's all or nothing, right? If Jerick McKinnon can get out there, he's going to get out there. Boy, they miss him in pass protection. That's the one thing. Although Isaiah Pacheco has done a nice job, and the Chiefs have done a nice job of scheming around some of those things. Would you trust him? I mean, obviously he's played a lot of football, but it's been a minute. If all of a sudden, say he's a full participant today, and they put him out there, would you want him playing significant snaps, or would you say, hey, let's just go with Pop?
Go with Pop, baby.
Yeah.
Come on, go with Soda, baby. I mean, seriously, Isaiah Pacheco has been incredible on this run.
Yeah.
He is turning it on at the right time. And you've heard a few defensive players talk about, it kind of sucks tackling him. Like, he's a hard guy to bring down.
Yeah.
It ain't easy. He's very physical, and the Chiefs have tried to lean into this physicality, right? In the years past, they were known more as a finesse team, especially offensively. But what are they now? They're now more of a physical team.
Yeah.
And they're really leaning into it, and a lot of that starts with Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah, and when I think about that game against the 49ers, I think was it last year where they just ran it down their throat? Now I got to pull this up.
It was 42-21 final score? That was the beat down.
Yeah, they beat them down, and
that was in San Fran too, wasn't it?
Yeah,
beat down in the Bay, Hunter.
Yeah,
it was a beat down.
Producer Hunter
in the Bay
is here with us. He's behind the camera. If you're listening on the audio side of things, and is a big 49ers fan. The Chiefs had a really great game plan against them, and it'll be really interesting because the run has not been a strength for the 49ers this year. I'm trying to pull it up now just so I can get my bearings and see if that was in fact 2022. These years all blend together. Yeah, 44-23. Now this was October 23rd. Now look, these are different teams. Jimmy Garoppolo is still the quarterback. I don't know who was injured for San Francisco. People are always injured for San Francisco in that game. So interestingly enough in that game, Patrick Mahomes was 25 of 34 for 423 yards, 3 tutties, and a pick. The Chiefs ran for 112 yards with a committee of Pacheco, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Mecole Hardman had 2 touchdowns in that game on reverses, as I recall. Juju had 7 receptions for 124 yards, and MVS went off for 3 receptions for 111 yards. Kelsey 6 for 98. Here's another little interesting thing for you.
Brock
Purdy played
in
that game.
Do an interception, baby.
They do. Yeah, 4 of 9, 66 yards, and a pick in that game. That was the first game that they activated Christian McCaffrey. So he had 8 carries for 38 yards and 2 receptions for 24 yards. So it wasn't full-strength 49ers with CMC, but Kittle played, had 698 and a tutty. Ayuk played, 7 receptions for 82 yards. So, and Debo played, 5 receptions for 42 yards. So, like, from a defensive perspective for the Chiefs, they've seen and prepared for this 49ers team before from their major players on offense. Do you think that's a little bit of an advantage for them?
I mean, it's always great when you see a team, right? The whole reason why the battles are so tough in the division, right? When you play them twice a year at a minimum, it's always nice to have that sort of insight. But it always leads credence to who has the advantage in those upcoming matchups. Well, if you want to take away from what happens in divisional games, typically it makes them closer.
Yeah.
Right? Typically, you must make the advantages, they shrink a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't know if you take it as a positive or a negative for this particular matchup, but typically, if that rings true, we always say divisional games, maybe take the team who's getting the points. It's going to be a close one. again, they've played each other a few times now. Maybe you would take the points. In this instance, it would be Kansas City, though.
Yeah, and look, it wasn't like the Chiefs just completely shut down the 49ers in this game. The 49ers had 444 total yards in that game. Garoppolo threw for over 300 yards. They averaged 6.2 yards per play. The difference in the game was the Chiefs just went absolutely ballistic offensively in this game and had 529 total yards, averaged a preposterous 9.1 yards per play. And so that was the difference. And then Chiefs went 4 or 5 in the red zone. So, are we going to see, do you think, another game like this where,
No. I'll answer right now for you.
You don't think
No.
no boatload of points being scored in this one?
No, I do not. I'm more of I think it's going to be a little bit, I don't know if it's going to be ugly, but I think it's going to be a little bit of a lower scoring game. I think the Chiefs defense is electric. I think it's elite. And I don't see the Niners all of a sudden pouring it on. And on the other side of things, I think Kansas City shows they don't care about being sexy. Like against the Ravens, it wasn't like they were going to run the score up. They really took the foot off the gas and said, you're not going to beat us. We trust our defense. So if you saw a similar score, like maybe 17-13, 20-17.
Yeah.
That's more the range I'm in.
Yeah, the over-under, I believe, is 47.5. We got a good comment here from Savannah who says the weakness of this 49ers defense is the perimeter. Run outside, run counters, run sweeps. Not sure McKinnon is going to do too much there, especially with the increased 12 and 13 usage. If the Chiefs run that in this one, do you like Pacheco on the edge with his speed?
I like it better than Clyde. I mean, this.
Yeah, sure. Use Clyde as your
not
hammer.
a ton, honestly, and that's a little interesting. It's a good point there. I like Pacheco going north-south.
I think
he does a very good job of wiggling his way when he goes north-south. When he goes a little east-west, goes horizontal, those high knees all of a sudden now sometimes feel like extra movement.
Slowing him down
It feels like unnecessary, undecided movement. Not all the time. As the season's gone on, he's gotten better at this.
Yeah.
But it still makes me, whenever he goes outside, I don't trust that as much as him going north-south.
Yeah, and those seem to be where his explosive runs have come from. Obviously, he's done a nice job of bouncing some things outside occasionally, but it'll be interesting to see if the Chiefs run any stretch plays with him, get some motion going away from the run, and see if he can, because he is very fast. I believe his 40 time was 4.3. Let me look that up.
While he looks that up, I want to point something out to everyone here. If you guys want to donate, it is on here. It's going to the Special Olympics. If we get $1,000, we raise $1,000 for Special Olympics, a great cause. Patrick gets a tattoo. Help some ink find a home.
4.37 was his 40 time. So of course, there's 40 speed and there's field speed.
Getting joined now by Bijan Robinson.
Hey,
Bijan, how are you, man?
Man?
How are you guys doing?
Thanks for coming out.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate you.
Obviously, Bijan, you're here with Courtyard by Marriott.
Yep.
What's your partnership like with Marriott?
Yeah, so me just partnering with Marriott. They literally turned, a NFL suite into a hotel room, and it was like the most insane experience I've ever seen. And the thing I love about Courtyard is they want to. They have so much passion for NFL fans, and they want to have the best experiences for the fans, for what they do for people. And so for Jametta and Chance, the people who we surprised, they're big-time football fans, big-time Falcon fans. And, I mean, the night before the Super Bowl, they're about to stay in the stadium in that suite, and it's like an actual hotel room.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
So it's definitely a cool experience to partner with them and be a part of them.
So look, I'm not going to be endorsing any products anytime soon because why would anybody want to hire me to do that? But you're an NFL player. When you get to work with like a place like Marriott, can you just go stay at any hotel you want right now, like while you're working with Marriott? Is that part of the deal?
Yeah, I can.
That's
I
cool.
can. Obviously, I prefer to stay at Marriott.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can definitely stay in any hotel you want.
Just show up and be like, yeah, man, I'm Bijan Robinson. give me the penthouse, right? That's cool. That's cool. I got to ask you, man. So you're playing in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Do they still play? And have you seen the Samuel L. Jackson Rise Up video?
Every game.
It's
every game.
Have you seen it?
No, I've not seen this.
Oh, you got to watch it, man. Samuel L. Jackson. He's a big Falcons guy. He's like, what do Falcons do?
Yeah, he's like, rise up.
They got a whole like.
That was cool though. Like when I saw him at one of the games,
yeah,
I was like, man, that's Samuel.
That's Samuel. And
the
thing is too is like I think it's a little bit of an older video, so the graphics are not like up to.
Oh yeah. You can tell he filmed that when he was like a part of the Avengers or something like that.
He's in front of a green screen and there's oh man, it's hilarious. You gotta watch it after.
It's fire. It's fire.
So Bijan, man, you had a great rookie season. What was the hardest part though, transitioning from the college game into the program?
Yeah, I guess the hardest part was, it wasn't a big transition, but like the speed of the game, it wasn't drastic at all. Like everybody's fast in college, just like everybody's fast in the NFL. But the only difference was, guys are smarter in this league, and they don't really make a lot of mistakes. So they're not going to miss their gaps. They're not going to miss their holes, their reads. So I had to get used to learning how to create contact and have contact balance, in the holes because those things close fast.
Yeah.
And even just no wasted movement, in college you can kind of get away with kind of doing whatever you wanted. But then in the NFL you gotta, get a field and attack as much yard as you can and cover as much ground as you can because dudes are fast and they're always pursuing and they have great pursuit angles. So that's kind of the only difference. But as I started to get, used to this game and get more comfortable on the field, then it was just like playing kind of in college again.
When did you know you're going to Atlanta? Because I think a lot of folks, myself included, go, okay, they had a rookie running back the year before go for over 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
Obviously, Patterson's still on the team as well. So I'm going, okay, they're good. So we know he's not going to Atlanta. And then all of a sudden, Bijan Robinson, Atlanta.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
It was definitely a blessing of an experience, just knowing that that's where God wanted me to go. And, I think they did, they did the right thing in terms of me and Tyler, two different running backs, two different styles, but we complement each other very well. And obviously, Arthur Smith, he was big in the run game, and for me, I go to receiver too. So, having a dual threat type of guy was the point of getting me. And even just me just being a decoy from that beginning of the season, and now teams are starting to where's number 7 and where's he gonna go, open up the whole offense. It was definitely a cool experience. Obviously, we fell short of what we were trying to accomplish, but I think that God puts setbacks for huge setups, and I know we got the right coach in Raheem and what we're trying to do for this next upcoming season.
Yeah.
Well, we see you guys out on the field. You're all so talented, and that's kind of what we know. A lot of what we know about you. We don't get to see some of the behind-the-scenes stuff. Who's the funniest guy in the Falcons locker room?
The funniest guy on the team, I would have to say, because there's a lot of them, is Zachary Harrison.
Okay.
Zachary Harrison. He's one of our D linemen.
Yeah.
Dude is hilarious, and I don't think he tries to be, but every time I'm with him, it's never a dull moment, and we're just crackling every single time. He sits right next to me in the team meeting.
Yeah.
And that dude is hilarious. So I'll say Zach Harrison is the funniest one for sure.
All right.
How much have you talked with Raheem Morris now? Obviously, he's now in as a head coach.
Yeah.
What was that transition like? It's always difficult. You're a rookie. You're used to now you have a head coach.
Yeah.
Now he's gone, a new head coach. What's that like now with Raheem? Have you talked to him a whole bunch?
Yep. So literally 15 minutes after he got hired, I asked for his number.
Yeah.
From our GM Terry, and he gave me his number, and I locked it in, and his icon popped up for a FaceTime, and we talked on the phone. And man, I mean, he's an awesome dude, man. Obviously for a coach who he is, he's a great coach, but he's an awesome guy, awesome person, and I think he's what we needed for this team, being a young team and being a team that is a young culture and a young young environment. He was definitely the one that we needed to run with, and I just respect and love what he did.
I mean, you scared of Will right there? Absolutely. I mean, that's the guy trying to bring you down.
Absolutely not.
I'll make sure to let him know when he comes back.
Please do. That's my dog.
For everyone who's not on the video, Will Anderson Jr. walked by.
Yeah.
You know,
big old scrub. But, no, even with him, man, like that's one of my dogs. You know, I want to congratulate him for winning the Defensive Rookie of the Year. Like that's huge. But I mean, he's a great guy, man.
All right, so when you were growing up, who was your favorite running back, and was there anybody that you modeled your game after?
Yeah, so when I was growing up, my era was like more of like the LaShawn McCoys and, you know, Adrian Peterson. But I think my favorite running back was LaDainian Tomlinson. He was the guy that, you know, as I started to, you know, get older and you know, my grandpa, he had these VCR tapes and these DVDs of his games, and I'll just watch those and obviously watch his highlights and the things that he's done, and I kind of compare my game to his, but I would say he's definitely the guy that I model my game after for sure.
Just don't carry the ball like Shady. You carry it like a loaf of bread sometimes, and he was on the Chiefs. It scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, it was definitely a little different. I was like, no way.
Yeah.
Is it true you were named after the Iranian fashion designer? Is that true?
That is true.
And do you rock a lot of those clothes? Is that a lot in your wardrobe right there?
No, so it's not. So, but look, so it was kind of crazy. So Nicholas Bijan is the guy that runs it now, and he like DM'd me, and he was saying like we should definitely do something because they're out of Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
And when I saw that DM, I was like, oh shoot, like because I mean, those are like the most expensive clothing in the world.
It's not cheap.
Yeah, it's incredible, but. Yeah, I was definitely named after that brand and the cologne and everything that they've done, you know, for that. So it's cool.
Are you a big fashion guy yourself?
I'm starting to be.
Yeah.
I'm starting to be like I'm more of like an athletic leisure, like chill, calm clothing brand type of guy. But I'm starting to get a lot more into it.
You'll be able to afford some of those threads now. You know what I mean? Some of those things maybe you couldn't get when you were in college.
That's right.
All right. So we talked about some of your favorite running backs growing up. Who's on your running back Mount Rushmore? Who are the four guys that, when you think about the position, you're like, those are the dudes I aspire to be like?
Yeah, so I'll say Barry Sanders at one. Adrian Peterson. Yeah. Marshall Falk and LaDainian Tomlinson.
Oh, you don't hear Marshall all the time. That's a good one.
Marshall.
Yeah,
greatest show on turf right there.
That's it.
What do you think of Isaiah Pacheco's running style?
Yeah.
We've talked with some other running backs, and they're like he's incredible, but that is a unique running style.
Yeah.
He's so angry when he runs.
Absolutely.
The high knees, I'm sitting here going, how do you go anywhere?
That's right.
What are your thoughts on Isaiah Pacheco?
I think he's a great running back, man. And, you know, a lot of us have different styles. A lot of us run differently. But I think he runs violent, and I think he runs with the purpose and with the chip on his shoulder. But, I mean, for him, you know, I think just how he covers ground and, you know, the only difference that I would say he can do a little different. It's not like run right into the to the defenders, but like that's how he runs the ball, and you got to respect it, and you got to admire that type of running style. But I think he's definitely a great running back for what they have, and he's respected all around the league. I respect his game a lot, and I really can't wait to see what he does in the Super Bowl right here.
Was there any dude that tackled you this year, and you're like, man, I can't believe he got me? Like I can't believe I'm getting tackled by this guy.
Oh,
like you're like, okay, I don't want you to tackle me, but it's kind of cool that you got me.
Yeah. I would say so. Budo Baker, like.
Yeah.
So I'm humbly saying this, like, I pride in not trying to get tackled one-on-one, like, ever.
Yeah.
And if it happens, I'm like pissed off, like all the next play. But the game with the Cardinals, like, I caught a swing pass, and literally it was just me and Buddha. Like, there was nobody else, and I made him miss and touchdown. And man, I mean, it was probably like the most like embarrassing thing in my life. Like, I made the move and I got him, but he like grabbed my shoelace, and I didn't fall, but like it was just enough to get the other defenders out, and I like had to run out of bounds. Yeah. But it was like, man, I don't know how he did it. He literally grabbed this part of my shoe and like brought me to the ground. So it was like, man, it was definitely an annoying one that I would always want to take that one back.
Who hit you the hardest this year? Is there like one hit you were like, man?
I really didn't get like hit hard this year. It was more of like guys just trying to bring me down or a gain tackle.
Yeah.
But I didn't get hit like with the ball, but like with the chip, I tried to chip Quentin Williams, and that just didn't go right. That just didn't go good at all. Like he like reversed the chip, so like I'm the one that got blasted. So I tried to hit him, and he like hit me so hard. I tried to get up real quick to like not to kind of just like act like I didn't get hit. But they got it on video, and it was like, man, yeah, you could feel that hit. It was a big one.
Is that the hardest part of transitioning from college to the NFL, starting to chip these guys? You know, it's one of those situations where all of a sudden you're like, you sure you don't want me to go out? You sure? Coach, come on now.
No, yeah. It's like, so you're usually chipping defensive ends and linebackers. Like, that's who you're usually chipping. Like, you're not really chipping a 320-pound monster that's trying to come after the quarterback. And I was just trying to make a good play to help our team out. He blasted me, and I was like, I can hold off this chip for the rest of this game.
All right, we got a big game on Sunday, 49ers, Chiefs. Which team do you think has the edge in this one?
Yeah, so, I feel like the 49ers have a better team, more complete, but, I feel the Chiefs are the ones that are going to pull out with it. Just because they've been in the game for a lot more years, and they got experience. They literally just won it last year, so I feel like they're going to be the ones to pull out with the game and control scenarios.
Did you think Kasey was going to get by Baltimore?
Yeah,
you did.
I did. It's just something about them when they play in the playoffs, man. Yeah. It's like everything is working for them for some reason.
We've been hoodwinked, man. I firmly believe it's like during the regular season, it's like, all right, we'll just take it easy. Let's get right. Kelsey looked like he was 47 years old,
bro,
and now he's like, I've been playing you guys.
That's what I'm saying. Like the regular season, they're like, oh, the Chiefs aren't what they used to be. All this. And then literally 2 weeks ago, they looked like the team that they used to be. So, I don't know, man. It's I feel like it's going to be for theirs to lose.
All right, Bijan Robinson joining us. Man. Appreciate you coming by, man.
Hey, good luck next year.
Man.
We have a Falcons guy that does this, and so he's a massive fan of you, obviously. And
that's awesome.
So,
yes, sir.
He'll be rooting for you hard.
Oh, come on now.
All right.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, man.
Take care. Enjoy the week.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Bijan Robinson, running back for the Atlanta Falcons. Big fantasy guy, too. Everybody loves Bijan coming into the fantasy football season. He was like the #1 draft pick. What a skill set he has. I think they're going to feed him a little bit more under the new coaching staff.
I think so, too.
And that's going to be pretty exciting.
You saw as the season went on, it was all right, we're using Tyler Algier. We're gonna use Cordarrelle Patterson, and then as the season progressed,
anybody but Bijan, anybody but Drake London, anybody but Kyle Pitts,
Jonnu Smith. That's a backup tight end that was getting used everywhere.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. He was getting used more often down the stretch, and you saw what he did. He is electric. That guy is so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
Great guy too. You can just tell right there. Sometimes the excitement. Just for talking about certain things. Like you just even mentioned, I get mad, I get brought down one-on-one. Like he still remembers getting taken down by a shoelace by Buda Baker. He's like, I'm believing that ain't going to happen again.
It's not easy to find space in an NFL game. So when you find yourself in a situation where you're like, okay, I got a guy one-on-one. I'm one of the best athletes in the world. I'm great at making people miss. All I got to do is do my thing and make him miss, and I'm going for 6. And you think, and your move works, and you get by him, and then he just reaches out at the last minute and shoestring tackles you. That's the NFL, man. Sometimes that's the difference between, look at the AFC Championship game and that fumble by Zay Flowers on the goal line. So many ways that could have gone differently, right? Split-second difference, he's in the end zone. If he decides just to put his head down and stay on his feet, he scores. If L'Jarius needs just a half a step behind, he doesn't get there in time. If his arm is just an inch to the left or an inch to the right, he doesn't hit the ball. It is literally a game of inches. It's absolutely incredible.
We'll be joined by Will Anderson in about 8 minutes. He walked by. We got to bring up what Bijan said to him. It sounds like they're pretty close. It's always fun when you see, especially guys who can actually go against each other a little bit. Will Anderson, defensive end, going up against Bijan.
I'm scared, man. That guy's an animal. He is a great, great player. He came into the NFL like he'd been here for 10 years.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable.
I interviewed Will Anderson before the draft, right before, and it was such a electric experience as he's coming over right now.
Oh, here we go. Oh, has he got food?
Will Anderson Jr.'s bringing food with him?
Yo, what's up, Will?
Man.
That's what I like it.
Oh, I love it, baby. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Oh, he doesn't just have wings, man. He's got peanut butter.
Oh.
Now we're talking. What's up, Will?
And it's
How y'all
Jif.
doing? The best brand.
That's the best. You know what's in my pantry right now? Jif peanut butter.
Gotta have it.
Yeah.
You know what I do for lunch? Jif peanut butter.
Gotta have it.
Bread.
Gotta have
honey. Oh, there we go. That's all you need. That's all you need.
What I tell you, the honey and the peanut butter, not
You
too
gotta
many
have
people
it.
know about that
You
one.
gotta have
That is it. That is it. So who are you working with, man? Why are you bringing us food here?
Well, 100 billion wings are consumed, at every, football party. And the only thing that gets wasted is the celery. So I'm partnering up with Jif to save the celery. We got the Jif peanut butter going here. We're making Jif the top rookie addition to the big game parties everywhere this year. And, this is just the beginning of the relationship with Jif. I'm excited to showcase, my love for peanut butter over the next few years. And it's just that Jiffing good.
It is a tragedy. Everybody dives into the wings, and you always see the carrots and the celery laying there afterwards. And it's like, I always like that they bring that out because it makes me feel a little bit better about myself.
You feel
after I
healthy.
house 12 wings, I'm like, well, I'm eating some carrots.
You just got to sneak one like,
I usually get through half a bite. But you're right, man. So when I was growing up, man, we were a Jif house. If my dad came home with one of those other brands, he was going back to the store.
Yep.
He was going back to the store. Jif's absolutely fantastic. You a Jif guy?
Oh yeah, that's what I have in my pantry. My fiance brought some others home, and I go, I'm not eating that health. I'm not like that. Where it separates, Jif's where it's at.
Yeah,
Jif
yeah.
is
They've
the
got
absolute
that
best.
too. They've got that too.
First off, congratulations, obviously,
Thank you.
NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Last night.
I mean, you, C.J. Stroud, the Houston Texans, going from what they did the year before, you guys get there. I actually had a chance to interview before the draft. It was you and Bryce Young in Kansas City. And after I got done, I go, someone's walking away with the best defensive player. I go, whoever drafts Will is walking away with a steal of the draft. The Texans move back up.
Yep.
They get Stroud and you. What's it like being the face now of a franchise, offense and defense, and both being rookies?
Yeah, man, it's just a blessing. And just got to give all glory to God, man. He's just been working unbelievable in our way for the Texans and for our lives, man. And, to have CJ, me, all the guys in the locker room, they all play a big part in it. It's just not me and CJ, man. The guys, they were hungry. And the message all year was, it's not a year from now. It's not 2 years from now. The time is right now. And that's just what we wanted to go and put on tape. Like, we got everything we need right now. We got a quarterback. We got a defense. We got an offense. Let's go get it done.
Yeah. I grew up in Northeast Ohio, so I'm an Ohio State fan. So I watched CJ's whole career. And I've never had the pleasure of meeting him myself. But whenever I'd watch him after games, giving interviews, press conferences, I just always thought, man, this kid seems like such a good kid, seems like such a nice kid. He always thanks God first,
Yep.
and then he spends the rest of the time talking about his teammates. Is he like that behind the scenes too?
All the time, the exact same. And that's what makes him special. He's the same guy on and off the camera every day. Like, walking into the building, same CJ, you're going to get the goofy side of CJ, but you're going to get the business side of CJ.
Yeah.
Then you're going to get the side that he shows his personality, God, everything like that. And we just feed off of that, and that's why we love him so much.
That's cool, man.
What was the hardest part of transitioning from college to the NFL? Obviously, it wasn't the hardest transition for you. You seemingly got it done, obviously.
Did all right.
But what was that like for you?
I would just say the free time. Like, it's just like no class, no tutoring, no study hall, no nothing. So, like,
That's the hardest part?
yeah, because sometimes, like, I like being productive.
Yeah.
And, like, sometimes I felt at times, like, bro, you're not doing enough for the day. Like, what are you doing right now? Like, I would go home, like, I would watch film, and I'd just be, like, chilling for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
But I was just so used to, like, not going to bed till, like, 10 and waking up in the middle of the night. Oh, I got an essay to do.
Right, yeah,
So,
yeah.
but it was fun, though.
Yeah. Cool. Who's the funniest guy in your locker room?
Funniest guy in the locker room? Okay, y'all know Sheldon Rankins?
I don't.
Yeah, Rankins.
Yeah.
You call him Shorty?
No, Sheldon.
You said Sheldon. I thought you said Shorty. That's
No,
why I was
no.
confused. I'm like, who's Shorty?
Sheldon Rankins.
Sheldon, yeah.
Hands down the funniest guy in the locker room.
Yeah.
Like, he's quiet, but, like, once he starts talking and, like, joking and getting comfortable, he's a comedian, bro.
Yeah. You guys, I was asking some of the other guys this. You guys have a hoop in the locker room?
Yes, we do.
Who's the best locker room hooper?
George Fant,
Okay.
bro.
Wow.
You know, he used to be a basketball player. I ain't gonna lie, he got a shot on him.
Yeah.
He got a shot on him.
You're the first guy who hasn't said themselves.
Oh, because, see, I'm truthful with myself.
Yeah.
Basketball, me and basketball don't get along.
We had Miles Garrett and Denzel Ward here, and I was about to start an argument between those two guys. I'm like, what am I getting myself into over here?
Yeah.
As far as who you grew up idolizing, who you grew up
Yeah.
watching, is there any guy that you tried to model your game after?
Yeah, I would say growing up, I didn't really watch football like that. But once I got to like high school, I started watching like Khalil Mack, Von Miller, J.J. Watt, and those guys, just because that was my first time ever playing, defensive end. And then still to this day, I kind of watched them, especially Khalil Mack, because like we have a similarity in a lot of our rushes and a lot of our play in our game.
All right, you had a ton of success this year rushing. Which offensive lineman gave you the most trouble this year?
I like the rookie from the Jaguars.
Okay.
Who else? Who did we play?
Not a lot of you win defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was great competition.
Yeah.
I'll say that. It was
Yeah.
great competition everywhere.
What is it like? Just you're now in this community of NFL players. So just again, Bijan Robinson. You walked by a little earlier, giving him a hard time.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can tell you what he says. You walk away. He says he's not scared of you.
Bijan, I asked Bijan how hard I hit him when we played. I had to hit him though. It was fun.
He said he didn't get hit hard this year. We asked him that.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
That's what he said.
He said I didn't really get hard. They
Did
just
y'all see
brought me down.
Did you see the Brian Branch clip?
I haven't. No.
Oh,
Maybe
Don't
he
tell him I
can't-
said that though.
Maybe he
I
can't
still
remember
love
that one.
He get him too hard.
it's like a gossip thing. We're just getting sit around here on Radio Row.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So as far as a Mount Rushmore, do you have a Mount Rushmore of all-time greatest pass rushers? I know the guys you grew up idolizing, at least when you got to high school. But as far as your top four.
Okay, now that I'm a little bit more experienced, I'm going Derek Thomas.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
DeMarcus Ware, JJ, and Reggie White.
I love
That's
that.
a good list, man.
DeMarcus Ware is so underrated.
Bro.
I feel like,
So underrated, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
yeah.
I don't get it.
And also, you made a lot of Chiefs fans happy with that Derek Thomas nod right there.
Uh-huh.
Oh, he was.
Super Bowl 58,
Gotta have
number 58. I mean, come on now.
Bro.
You had what? 7 sacks this year? Is that right?
it. 7, 8 postseasons.
Yeah. Okay, so Derek Thomas. No, 7 sacks, rookie year, rookie of the year, unbelievable. Derek Thomas had 7 sacks in a game.
Bro, crazy.
I mean, do you think you could ever you can beat that record?
I'm leaving that up to God. Whatever God wants, man. 7 sacks in the game is unhuman. I know he got drug tested after that game.
We talked to DeMarcus Ware about that, and he said that the heck of it is he would have done it again. I think was it DeMarcus or Marcus Spears? I think it was Marcus said he would if he hadn't passed away, he would have gotten 7 sacks in the game.
No,
again.
for real,
That's how good
most
he
definitely.
was. Yeah.
What was it like for you? The Texans are trading back up. Did
Yeah.
you know they were drafting you at that moment? Were you in conversation with them? Because I know talking with CJ earlier, he was like, I had no idea what was going on. All of a sudden I look around and the Texans are back on the clock. What was it like for you going to that moment?
Honestly, I was panicking, man, because I tell people like in the green room in the back, it's still setting the Cardinals on the board, and it was like 30 seconds left, and then like right at like 20 seconds, I had got a call from the Texans, and I don't know, just me being me, I was like, oh, they probably calling me like, hey, we couldn't get you, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they end up coming to draft me, man, and it just, bro, I was nothing but smiles because that's where I wanted to be at.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw you walking across the stage. It was just electric, man, out there in Kansas City.
Bro, because like I was like, bro, this is the perfect place to be, perfect situation, perfect coach who I wanted to play for, group of guys that I had got a chance to meet while I was there, man. It was just unbelievable.
Yeah. So you guys got to the playoffs, surprised a lot of people. A lot of people didn't wrote you guys off as you went into the year.
Not this guy.
Not this guy.
I was on the Texans are making the playoff train for so long. I was made fun of to start the year. Now who's laughing now? Well, Will's laughing now, but.
So you get some great experience. I know is going to help you guys as a young team moving forward. You run into this buzzsaw that's the Baltimore Ravens, who also had a great season.
Yeah.
Were you surprised they didn't end up making it to the Super Bowl?
A little bit. Honestly, I thought they were going to be in the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
They had a heck of a team, man. Lamar Jackson was playing some of his best ball. His team was playing some of their best ball. They were flying around. They had a lot of energy, what you need in the team, and it was just a beautiful thing to see. You know what I'm saying? They were unbelievable this year. So I thought,
Yeah, great team. You guys had them in the first half.
Yeah.
You had them. You'll get back. All right, final score predictions for this one. Chiefs, Niners, 2 really good teams. Which one do you think has the edge?
I'm going with the Niners, and I got 24-17.
Okay, that's a good score. I mean, I
You
don't
made
like
a lot of people sad in Kansas City, man. That's where you were drafted.
I'm sorry, man.
That was the city. We'll appreciate it. Also, shout out to Jiff, man.
Yeah.
If you don't have Jiff, with celery, you're doing it wrong. You're wasting the celery.
Yeah, not
Save
just,
the
not,
celery.
Not just celery.
Get the Jif. And also, again, side note, Jif and honey, those sandwiches, again, that's where it's at.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah.
We'll appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, man. I love when they bring food by.
Yeah, food's, food's the best.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, take it easy, man.
What a guy, man.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's
Again,
I'm always amazed at these guys, like,
he's electric, dude. This is why I said when he was drafted, he was the guy who's going to turn a defense around. He's the guy you build around. Right. Before the draft, just talking with him, I 1,000% understood why the Texans traded up to get him, and that's why I was so high on the Texans this year. I know it's one guy. I know it's a rookie. But watch what he's going to do. I mean, it's hilarious. When you look at his Wikipedia page, look at the career highlights and awards. This is normally what you see, all those awards, for you've been playing a long time. I know some of this is in college, obviously, but that list is long already. What he has done defensively on a team that was really poor the year before, and you come in now as the cornerstone. You are now the guy.
Changed it.
I just enamored by him. His personality, it's infectious. Always smiling. Man, Will Anderson Jr., he's great dude.
He seems like a guy you want to go have a beer with, man. Really, really personal, funny. Yeah, man, he was great. I enjoyed talking to him. And boy, did the Texans just nailed that draft. I mean, they knew what they wanted to do.
Why do you think I was so high on the Texans this year?
I mean, it can be hard to know what a rookie quarterback is going to do in their first year in the league. To see what C.J. Stroud did, and then you combine that with you go and you get yourself. So this is what I love, and I think teams don't do this enough. I loved how damn aggressive they were in that draft.
They said, we're getting our guys.
We're getting our guys. These picks are currency, and I think a lot of times fans especially are like, "Whoa, we don't want to give up too many of our picks." It's like the picks are to get players. They're money spent, and then they're like, "Well, we gave up too much. We gave up 4th, 5th rounds." How many Hall of Fame 4th round picks have there been?
Well,
use those.
It's not even that. It's one of those situations where you win now.
Right.
You win now. Again, not all the time. I think you need to save first and second as much as you can, obviously. Yeah. But let's be real now. It could end up being Kadarius Toney. It could end up being Tyson Jackson. I mean, not a knock against these guys, but those guys aren't necessarily, they're not game changers. Clyde, I love Clyde, great, solid player, but he's not a game changer.
Right.
Like sometimes we get so caught up in the potential.
Yeah.
Give me the now.
Yeah.
Get your guy.
Yeah.
Like if you know he can make an impact, like you believe that truthfully, go get it.
Yeah.
Like I think the Bears, to an extent, were a little scared last year. They could have got Bryce Young. They could have got
C.J. Stroud,
who I kept saying get C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting back going, I think they were a little scared. Sometimes you have to be aggressive. You have to say, you know what? Even if I'm wrong, at least I'm going out my way.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think teams and GMs especially, they get so nervous going, well, if this is wrong, my job's done.
Yeah. And we've seen teams do that in the past. I mean, the 49ers benching Alex Smith for Colin Kaepernick. I think Alex could have gotten them to the Super Bowl as well. But there's no denying during those seasons, Kaepernick was a really much more dynamic player. They damn near won that Super Bowl. That was not an easy decision to make. When the Seahawks drafted Russell Wilson, they just paid a bunch of money to who was it, Matt Flynn or somebody and people were like, oh, they're not going to start Russell Wilson this year. They did. Look what happened to them. So you've got to make these aggressive moves. Even the Chiefs, who were sitting back there in the 20s, and were like, we've got Alex Smith. There were a lot of fans who did not like when they moved up to get Patrick Mahomes. Most were excited because the Chiefs hadn't taken a quarterback.
We were all excited
in the first round.
Hey,
not everybody.
I was in Philly for that
Not
draft.
everybody.
Well, all the Chiefs fans that were there.
Our own Zach Best, who has since deleted the tweet, did not like the pick.
Wow.
He thought they should have built around Alex
Calling
Smith.
out your boss seems like a bold strategy.
Well, look, the man's over here. He's going to top this thing off and make me get a tattoo. So I'm going to get my shots in as well.
We're close.
He did not like the Patrick Mahomes pick. He thought they should have kept building around Alex Smith. And look what happened.
In the arms of an angel. We're
So
very
we got
close.
Kasey Hudson coming in.
We are at $765. It's for a charity, Special Olympics. Donate to the charity, and this guy's getting a tattoo.
This is going to be a good one here. We got a betting analyst coming in, Kasey Hudson. Hi, Kasey.
Hello.
Patrick.
Good morning.
Nice to meet
Kasey.
you. Thanks for coming by.
It's a long reach
It's
there. I
fine.
never know to do the fist bump or a handshake and it's
I
left-handed.
wouldn't have been offended either way.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because I'm still getting my bearings. So,
Did you just get here?
yes.
It's kind of crazy. Your first,
It's
getting down in here.
hectic because you got to, trot all the way to grab the badge. Then you have to do this circular check-in motion.
It's
Then
the
you get
worst.
up here.
That's the worst part of this whole thing. They
Right.
make you walk on. And if you leave, you got to go all the way
All
back
the way
around.
back. I made that mistake 4 times yesterday. You'd think I would have learned.
Yeah.
But then I was, starving. My stomach was eating itself, and I was,
Yeah.
flipping a coin. I'm like, do I do it or do I not do it?
I think
Yeah.
you're doing pretty good with only 4. I think only 4 is actually pretty impressive.
Thank you for making me feel better for my decisions yesterday. My parents are like, are you serious? Grab a snack, sit still. And I was like, we know I don't do that.
So, Kasey, you're at Believe Stadium, BetQL. Is there anywhere you don't work?
That's a great question. I'm glad that people call and call me in to ask for my advice.
Yeah.
Sometimes it could be questionable. Sometimes it's fabulous. We'll see how this conversation goes. But
Yeah.
no, it's fun, especially because you have your sports betting stuff. And then I work heavily in hockey. I'm on the ground with the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Nice.
Do a lot of national stuff NHL-wise. So wherever I'm needed, I like to be able to call.
What do you prefer? Betting football, betting hockey?
Oh, man. That's always such a taboo question because then people are like, there's a ceiling for hockey. But I'm just such a hockey nerd. And I'm a numbers nerd, too. So there's so many statistics and angles that you can do with hockey. But people are like, that's too much. It's overwhelming. Just give us, the anytime score. So I love hockey for my nerdy reasons.
Yeah.
But football's probably easier.
I'm not going to lie. We need you on for this exact reason. You use stats and numbers. I use my gut. Now, not a good idea. I did last night on the blackjack table, and it
my
worked for a little
gosh.
bit. Then all of a sudden, play by the book. I'm like, no, I'm going my gut. Okay,
Yeah.
a queen comes up. I'm busting. So this is why you're here to help us out.
There we go. The guys tried to drag me to blackjack yesterday, and I was like, no, I don't. I'm
'Cause you
not
know the
feeling
numbers.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not feeling it. And they told me, they're like, even if you get up, you can't leave the table because you can ruin the rhythm for everyone else. And I was like, I cannot be responsible for everybody
Yeah,
else
yeah.
at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm questionable as is. So yeah, I rooted everyone on from the side, but.
So where did you grow up and who did you grow up rooting for?
I technically grew up in Tampa. I was a military brat, so I was literally just born in Miami, and then we were off. My dad had a long stint in Frankfurt, Germany for a while. So once we got our bearings, then it was Bucks and Lightning, and that's just been the hometown for me. I left for college for a little bit, came back to Tampa, and then just kind of got right back into the system. So 9 years with the Bucks and 6 years with the Lightning.
Do you speak a little German then?
I could say Sprechen Sie Deutsch. Asking if anybody else can speak German, hoping that they don't say yes, because then now I look like the German speaker.
No.
Yeah,
Of course.
Exactly.
Ein bisschen Deutsch.
Okay.
I spreche ein bisschen Deutsch, a little
bit,
I can
yeah.
order dry beer bitte, 3 beers please, the important things.
The important things,
The important
exactly.
things. As far as obviously Sunday's game, seems like you're pretty high on the Niners from a couple of other things you've been talking
We've been watching.
about.
We've been doing our research
Man.
on you.
I was hoping you guys were going to give me a clean slate there.
Yeah.
Because yesterday I did FanDuel, and they were like, favorite props, and I went on a bit of a rant with the Niners, and they're like, so you choose the Niners. And before I could be like, no, it was like commercial, and now we're off, and I was like, crap, so I just chose the Niners. I run back to Believe, and I was like, do I just lean it, guys? And they're like, lean it. So, of course, there's things that made me gravitate towards them, and that's the beautiful thing about Super Bowl. It can really go either way. That's why the spread is where it is. It's going to come down to coaching genius, but it's also going to come down to the efficiency of players, not having those drops, making sure those plays are executed well. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to stay with the Niners.
Yeah. So you mentioned the line. Do you think? Last I checked, it was +2 for the Chiefs. What do you think? Is that the right? Is that the right line?
I saw some things that I think came down to about +1.5. And, of course, I can see that. That's why playing with the spread in Super Bowl is probably not my favorite thing. So, clearly, at this point, I'm probably taking Niners money line. I'm hearing a lot of great things about alternative money lines, and I actually really love the sound and look of that. Joe Cirillo broke down an alternative money line for the Chiefs yesterday that was actually quite brilliant. Obviously, I can't choose the Chiefs now. But, yeah, money line for the Niners is where I'm at.
You can do that if you want to with the Chiefs. We won't tell anyone. How hard is it, though, for the betting market to try and adjust for what the Chiefs have done in the playoffs? Because this looks nothing like they did during the regular season.
Yeah.
I think it's been very difficult for people to be like, is this the same team, or are they a team that just is able to turn it on come playoff time? And a lot of folks that we've talked to is like, how do you adjust for Patrick Mahomes?
Yep.
Because he also looks like a different player now in the playoffs. Because regular season, we all are talking about a little bit of a down year. Obviously, the receivers and the drops, but for him personally, putting the ball in harm's way a little more often. So far, the playoffs in 3 games, 0 turnover-worthy plays. How do you adjust betting market-wise what looks like a completely different team.
That's where I become you, and I start to go with my gut, because you are talking about a team that they are an improv backyard football style team, and the most scary thing about it is the fact that it's not just Patrick Mahomes that's backyard style improv. It's Travis Kelce who creates a completely different route in the blink of an eye, and they're just synergistic with each other and understand it. You got some players who started to get in rhythm with that, but I think what kind of got them off kilter this season is, Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, these guys were supposed to step up and kind of like elongate their role, and they didn't pan out. They weren't trustworthy in a sense. They weren't able to match the energy and tempo of Patrick Mahomes and the rest of the core with the Chiefs. All that to say, I know that the spread and everything is in favor of postseason for the Chiefs, and like in hockey, we call it like a whole different, like postseason is an entirely different season.
Yeah.
Everything that happened before that doesn't exist, doesn't count. And I think that's the clean slate everyone's giving the Chiefs. Where I struggle with that is that what the Niners did the last 2 weeks, is it sexy? No. But to be so consistent throughout the season, you're going to have a small digression. And I think that if they can just match tempo with what they did 4, 5, 6 weeks ago, they are the team to win this battle.
Yeah.
What do you think about the coaching edge in this one? Obviously, any experience edge. The Chiefs, 4 out of the last 5 Super Bowls. They've won 2 of them. Andy Reid's coached in Super Bowls. They've got Steve Spagnuolo on defense. Kyle Shanahan's no slouch. He's a great coach. He's been to the Super Bowl as well. But you've got Patrick Mahomes versus Brock Purdy playing in his first Super Bowl. Do you think that edge might tilt things in favor of the Chiefs if it gets close?
Yes, because if it gets close, you've got Andy Reid, his experience, his accolades, and the fact that he's got this superior hat of tricks, and you don't know what's going to get pulled out at the last minute. Kyle Shanahan is still pretty brilliant in my book, but he could be a little bit more like keep it simple, stupid, and if he sticks to a plan so much and can't go outside of that plan to match the creativity of the Chiefs, that's where the Chiefs will edge.
I really like the improv and then bag of tricks. I'm now picturing Andy Reid as like a clown,
a magician,
or a magician. Maybe not a clown. Let's go magician.
Yeah, he's definitely a magician.
Or trying to picture Andy Reid doing improv. That has to be a sight.
I think he'd be brilliant.
I think he'd be really
some
good.
of his press conferences are so genius. I'm like, just throw him a line and see where he goes with it.
We're looking forward to the challenge of playing. That's
Exactly.
always what it is. Do you have any prop bets that you're really intrigued heading into this game?
Yeah, props are probably my favorite thing and
Okay.
make me feel more sane when it comes to breaking down this matchup. The first one that I lean to is George Kittle. They had his reception sitting at 3.5, which just blew my mind. When Brock Purdy first got the crown of the 49ers team last season, who was his trust fall? It was George Kittle, and it wasn't always just the short up the middle passes. It was these chunk plays and these maniac plays that George Kittle was doing. So you have this dynamic, you have this connection, and you have this trust between Purdy and Kittle. And they haven't tried to work Kittle in too much. They've used him more for blocking to help the offensive line because obviously the O-line needed help. But I think that Kyle Shanahan is a genius. They're going to bring in Juszczyk to help with the blocking, and they're going to alleviate George Kittle to be a reliever for Brock Purdy. So I like the receptions. I like over 47.5. I think that's where he's sitting at. Brock Purdy rush yards, 25.5. Some people are like, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah, we saw this guy rush for 40-something yards. He is going to be under pressure from the Chiefs defense, and he should have more confidence to use his legs and not try to flick anything and turn over the ball because everyone is counting on Brock Purdy to turn over the ball at some point.
Is it 25? Is that a alternative line, or is that, because I thought originally it opened at 12.5?
Oh, really? Okay, so there could be an alternative line.
Because
what
I think
saw for
everyone,
25.
actually I agree with you completely.
12.5, I'd be all over.
I think
Right.
Brock Purdy is going to have to run a lot in this game, so I actually love
Yeah.
that one. I'm making notes right here, and I actually agree with all 3 of those. This is a good start
yes,
right here.
I got to tell my team that you agree.
Because, Brock Purdy, I think it's a very astute observation. I think he's much more athletic than people give credit to.
Yes.
I think you just see him, you see the LDP, and you go, oh, last draft pick. He obviously doesn't have the elite traits, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have to be elite to move in the pocket, to get a few rushing yards. Mahomes is not the most athletic guy in the NFL, and what's he do? He
Yeah.
finds ways to pick up first downs with his legs.
Yep.
So I think you're very right with the Chiefs being very aggressive, getting after him. He's going to have to leak out, and he might be picking up a few first downs with his legs.
And again, he's got to protect the ball. So while you have Christian McCaffrey as a security blanket there because he's a Swiss Army knife of the 49ers, you have Mitchell. I like a prop for Mitchell. It's hard to kind of find it, but I think somebody was saying that he has like over 1.5 receptions. If you can find it in the sports books, slam it. Mitchell's been a great reliever for McCaffrey when they want to run the ball and they don't want to make it obvious. The other thing I want to mention, because you said athletic and talked about Brock Purdy, one of my favorite football minds, John Ledyard, talked about the fact that while the Chiefs defense is great and they are explosive laterally. protecting vertically is going to be a challenge for them because they don't really have the athleticism. They're great players, but they're not athletic. George Kittle can exploit that and expose that. Ayuk might get tied up sometimes, but he's also somebody that can really go vertical and force them to play against their comfort zone. So if the Niners are able to ramp that up and lean on that athleticism, we're looking at another edge.
We talk about Brock Purdy running the ball and the athleticism. Mahomes is fond of saying it. He I don't run fast, but I run scared, and that makes me run fast enough. We've seen Mahomes. He's not like a Lamar or a Josh Allen. Running is not part of his everyday game. But when he gets into the playoffs, when he gets in these big moments, I mean, how did he win the Super Bowl and ice it for the Chiefs last year? A big run on a bad ankle. What do you like him to take off a few times in this game to try and go get first downs because he knows this is it, last game of the season, everything on the line?
Yeah, if things get a little complicated in the red zone, I would think that he would want to use his legs in that moment. Where the Chiefs will benefit here is that every team that goes up against the Chiefs is like blitz heavy, blitz heavy, blitz heavy. That's what the Bucs did when they won. Yeah. But this isn't a blitz-heavy Niners defense. So he's going to have some time to tamper in the pocket there, probably take a few steps and try to find his target. So I see that happening more so in the red zone, but I do like his rush yards as well because with this game being as close as it will be, again, it's going to come down to being creative and making those split decision moments. And Patrick Mahomes might not be the fastest, but he has an advantage I don't have, longer legs, and that'll give him yards that other people can't get all the time.
Yeah, the scared part, though, I have down. Running scared, that would be me.
Okay.
Very serious question here. This is super serious. Should we be betting on if Travis Kelce's going to propose to Taylor after the game?
If you're betting no and the money value is high, sure. Betting yes. Look, their story is great, and I'm glad that it's legit and it's real and all the things. But if they end up proposing to one another, Travis would have to be like the most insane guy.
Yeah, that'd be nuts.
She's not even 1 year removed from her previous engagement, and then the song comes out, and then they're tying it to like his WhatsApp and stuff. Like, there's just too many.
It's been like 8 weeks. It's been
like
2 months.
They haven't been dating that long.
Not long enough.
It's like Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee back in the day. Like, there's like no way.
I mean, look, when it's love, it's love, right? But I mean, I don't know.
You can be patient, though. You can be a little bit more patient.
I have read that the books could really take a bath if Travis Kelce wins MVP just because of all the extra money coming on Travis Kelce props with the Swifties. Do you see that as a possibility? Would you take that bet? Like, take a flyer on Kelce?
Yeah, I would, because you know that everybody wants to get in on the action.
Yeah.
Look at before Taylor Swift became too much of a name in the conversation for the Chiefs, you can always count on Travis Kelce to find the end zone. So just imagine how heavy that was already hammered, and now you've got all of her fan base coming in on that, and then like the whole Gatorade being red because of her album and all the tie-ins. There's just so much value in just going with Travis Kelce in so many ways.
And the beard he has now, we saw it at opening night.
Oh, I hate it.
That's a man who's very comfortable in his relationship. That's a man who's not
That's
trying
when you
to
realize the
impress
relationship
anyone.
was real.
That's when you
because
knew it
he
was
didn't
real.
have to keep it kept. Because, women complain when they've been with a guy for a year. You're a couple months in and sporting that. So
my fiance, I don't think she likes the mustache. But you see, you have to use some certain things here. I go, well, I had a mustache last year, and the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. So I'm sitting here
you
going,
use superstition.
I just wanted a mustache.
Oh.
So I pretended to be superstitious to grow the stash back out.
Gotcha. Thank you for giving me a heads up on what to look for.
What do you think of these fun bets like the national anthem length, the Gatorade color? The Gatorade color is the one that cracks me up because there's somebody in that locker room with a huge amount of power. Like, it'd be pretty easy to just like pick up the phone and call your buddy and be like, it's purple. You know what I mean? And like,
it's true.
That's it, right?
It's very true. And then of course, like all the statistics that come in, it's like, it's been 4 years since they've used orange Gatorade. It's time. And I'm like, gosh, I don't even remember the time of like what Gatorade and all those things. So I love that because I think it welcomes in fans that maybe aren't so heavy in like the sports side of things, or maybe don't know football to an analytical degree, but they love watching or they love the atmosphere or the camaraderie. And so those are those bets, those are those opportunities where it's like they have a role in this. And as a big hockey head, like I'm always looking for ways to invite new fans in and not be intimidating. And I think that helps do that.
Christian McCaffrey, over under rush yards. I don't know what it's set at, but are you confident that he's going to have a heavy dose of yards on the ground? Because I sit back going, I think the Chiefs actually have the ability to stop him on the ground. It's through the air that makes me nervous. Kind of the same thing with Deebo Samuel. I'm a little nervous when he lines up in the backfield. But with McCaffrey, I think the Chiefs have the ability to get downhill. They can take away the Niners' best strength. They've done it against the Ravens. They did it against the Bills. They did it against the Dolphins, right? They can take away your best strength. What do you think about Christian McCaffrey against this Chiefs defense?
So maybe since like week 7, my favorite Christian McCaffrey prop has been receiving and rushing yards combined. Because it usually sits anywhere between 125 to 131. I think it's at 130 right now. He hit 131 versus the Lions, and that prop went off because I think he was at like 80-something rush yards and 30-something receiving yards.
Yeah.
So it's sitting about the same, but yeah, it kind of gives you some wiggle room to put some money on McCaffrey and not kind of make it all rush heavy. I still think he can get the job done. It's kind of up in the air on whether or not the Ravens kind of abandoned their run game.
Sure.
In a sense, so depending on how consistent the Niners choose to be, and again, the creativity comes in. Don't make it so obvious you're going to use Christian McCaffrey, and they have the ability to do that depending on how they line up on the right side. So with that, I like the rush and receiving yards combined. It's sitting at 130. I'd hammer that.
Loving the Niners.
Yes.
If we got some folks.
I have some Chiefs stuff. I do.
If we got some folks sitting at home, they're not big bettors. It's the Super Bowl. They want to get in on the action. It'd be really fun for them to win a little bit of money. What's your stone cold lock? That's what they do in the betting industry. Stone cold, can't miss, lock. What's the one bet people should make?
Oh my gosh, one. I have to pick one.
Yeah, just the one that you think has the best chance of hitting for it.
I'm going to go, I think Jennings receiving yards sit pretty low.
Another Niner.
Yeah. Gosh,
Secret
I thought of
49ers
it too.
fan over
Gosh. No, my Bucks fans are upset with me right now. It's
yeah.
not a nice place to be. You know what? No, I'm going to switch that. I'm going to take Rice for over 67.5 receiving yards, and I'm taking that because he sits top 5 in the league for yards after catch, and they're going to need that. They're going to need those gritty plays, and I think that he can get those extra yards. We saw Juju help the Chiefs in the Super Bowl last year, 53 receiving yards. A lot of that was yak yards, but he was a big reliever when Travis Kelce got locked up or anybody else. And again, Chiefs are kind of working with roughly 3 targets. Those yak yards are going to be important.
I think that's a great bet. Juju tore the 49ers up for the Chiefs last year in the regular season. Rice has stepped into a similar role for Kasey this year. Kasey Hudson. You can find her on Twitter at @TheSportsCase, and that's with a K, not a C.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for joining us. It was really a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
Thank you so
Caught
much.
up with my Niners stuff.
Yeah,
no, it was
absolutely.
good, though. I at least if I can have some money made, I'm just going to be okay.
There you go. And if you lose, don't call me.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy
Thank
the
you,
game.
guys.
Appreciate
Kasey.
that.
Always good to get some betting insight.
Oh, if you
into
think I
this
wasn't
one.
taking notes right there, look at this right here.
Yeah.
Look,
oh,
look
you
at
were.
these notes. Oh,
Yeah.
this is going to turn
You got
into
Trey
a
McBride
nice
coming
little
in.
parlay.
Hey, how you doing, Trey?
So, man, how you doing?
Trey McBride, tight end.
See, I will
Arizona
eventually.
Cardinals.
This is the last day here. I'll eventually get the intro handshake down. Sometimes it's the left hand.
Sometimes it's the
Sometimes
right.
it's the fist pound. Sometimes it's
Sometimes
the.
it's
He
just
does
a-
the
a head
left hand
nod,
because
yeah.
he wants to show off his watch.
Yeah.
He's trying to
No,
get
no.
compliments.
See, I've been trying to make the world more ambidextrous.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
Switch
The
it up a
left-handed
little bit.
handshake.
There you go.
I'm
Yeah.
really trying to bring this.
Now you-
trying
there
to, trying to help America here.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. Trey, man, so you're just making the rounds on Radio Row right now?
Yeah, just zipping around here, talking to a bunch of the guys. This is cool, man. This is a great experience just to go out there and talk about everything, man. This is fun. Talk about football, man. It's not much better than that, right?
Have you ever been to Radio Row before in the past?
Yeah, I went last year because, the Super Bowl was there in Arizona, so I was there. Yeah, I was there last year, and, plan on doing it, for as long as I can. This is fun.
Yeah, and hopefully you won't be on Radio Row. You'll be
that's
in
the
the
plan,
game,
no
right?
doubt. Yeah, that's the plan. Hopefully I'm, playing, next year. So.
Yeah.
Have you seen your Wikipedia page picture?
I haven't, man.
You haven't.
What is it?
This is great. It's you.
that,
It looks
man.
like in high
That's
school.
in high school. Yeah, that's a high school basketball.
High school
game.
basketball.
That was a game winner. I think I had.
Was that a game
I
winner?
was all jacked up.
Yeah, you were hitting the gym too back in high school.
I mean, seriously, that's
That's
not a high
hilarious.
school bod, right?
That's
That's the dude that's putting up 35 a game. That's the guy that I go up in high school.
Yeah.
Why is he
who
on the
is this
floor
kid?
with me?
Yeah.
Did you ever have a decision to make in regards to deciding between basketball and football, or was it always going to be football?
It was actually baseball and football for me. I wasn't
Really?
For me, basketball. I was good at basketball. I just wasn't quite tall enough to do what I was a center, and,
Sure.
But I wasn't a 7. I'm going against 7-footers in college. I'm not doing all that.
Yeah.
So for me, it was baseball. I love baseball. I was a really good baseball player, and actually. Was contemplating playing that in college, and ultimately followed my brother and went and played at Colorado State. So
What position
awesome.
did you play?
I was a catcher growing up, and then I moved towards first base. I kind of gravitated towards first base because you just get to stand there, look good, and scoop the ball when if it's a bad throw, it's the other guy's
the
fault.
other
If
guy's
it's
fault.
if it's a good bad throw,
It's still an
you
error on him.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, sorry, man, couldn't help you out.
Yeah.
Better buy me a beer, or else
No
I'm going to
doubt.
miss that scoop.
No doubt, no doubt.
So Am I correct in guessing maybe you had a little bit of power at the plate?
Yeah, no doubt. I was a power hitter, 3-4 hole, just go out there and hit home runs. That was my favorite thing to do.
Nice.
Well, when you're looking at the Super Bowl right here, probably the two best tight ends in football,
no doubt.
George Kittle, Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
What do you take away from these two guys in particular? Because they do it very different ways as well.
Yeah, for me, this is a cool game for me because you get two of the best tight ends in a matchup that's at the highest level, right? So these guys are two totally different players. Travis Kelce's like a finesse guy, a guy who's going to get open, find zones, things like that, and just make plays. George Kittle's like your prototypical tight end, hand in the ground, get nitty and gritty, go make plays. And it's going to be cool, man. It's going to be fun to watch these guys go head-to-head and kind of see how it all works out.
Did you always play tight end when you were playing football? Did you play other positions?
I'm from a small town in Colorado, so I played quarterback, running back, receiver. Wherever the ball was going, that's probably where I was at. So that's what I did. But ultimately, I knew I was going to play tight end. I played defense as well, and I was pretty good at that. But scoring touchdowns was a lot more fun than trying to tackle the guy.
Yeah, well, you see that a lot with guys who make it to the NFL, especially if they played in a small town. You're the best athlete, maybe in the in the region, the state.
Yeah.
And they're going to put you wherever you can make an impact,
No
right?
doubt,
Did
no
you enjoy
doubt.
playing quarterback?
Oh, man, it was so much fun. I always kind of wondered, man, if I could still sling it every once in a while. But no, it's I loved it, man. Playing quarterback was fun just to go out there, do that. I was a kicker, man. I did it all. I was kicker. I probably would have been our punter, but I was our long snapper. But so
you coaching the team too?
Yeah. But no, it was fun,
Also
man.
the
It was
OC.
a lot of fun, man.
So you had a phenomenal year this year, man. I mean, it was very impressive. 81 receptions, 825 yards, and you had a lot of uncertainty with the Cardinals this year, right? As far as the quarterback situation, a lot of moving parts here. How are you able to have such a good year this year with all that going on?
Yeah, for me, it's just staying consistent. I do the same thing every week. The first 4 or 5 weeks, I wasn't really playing. I wasn't starting like that. And I still prepared every single week like I was going to be the starter. I knew I was one play away from being that guy. And ultimately, I just prepared every single week like I was going to start, like I was going to get every snap. And when I finally got my opportunity, I was ready for it. And, Kyler gave me a chance. He kept throwing me the ball, and it all kind of worked out.
I would say, how excited are you for next year when you have the finish to the season like that?
No doubt. Yeah, I think just to have a full year with Kyler is what I'm really excited about. He's coming off the ACL last year, and we didn't really get the full offseason. We didn't get the training camp. We didn't get that together. So this year to have a full offseason, to have a full training camp, to have a full season of Kyler Murray, I'm super excited to see what we can make happen.
What kind of leader is Kyler in the locker room?
Yeah, he's a guy who rallies the guys. He's a guy who's he's not gonna hoop and holler. He's not gonna be screaming. He's not gonna be doing all that. But he's a guy who leads by example. He's a guy who does everything the right way. He shows up to work and is a tremendous leader. I love playing for him, and I hope we can play together for a long time.
That's the kind of leader I am. Sterling's our hoop and holler guy.
Yeah.
Oh, me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You think I'm the guy that was out late in Vegas last night? You think I'm the
well, maybe not
guy?
so much this morning, but yeah.
What do you take away from PFF? Because I know PFF's been a pretty hot topic. Some players love it, some don't. PFF loves you, right? I think it actually kind of what you see, and then PFF backing it up. Do you ever get excited when you see those analytical accounts, have your back? Or you're kind of like, I don't really care.
Yeah, I don't really ever look at that stuff, honestly. PFF's so you just never know what they're looking at, and they don't really know what your job responsibility is on a play, and maybe they knock you for something that, so that's how I feel about it, because they don't really know what your job responsibility, what you're supposed to be accomplishing on every play. And sometimes you do it, but it's not the way that they think it should be done, and you get knocked or something like that. So I don't know. It's kind of a skewed thing, and I'm indifferent about it, truthfully.
Who hit you the hardest this year?
That's a good question. These two guys that are playing this weekend, Greenlaw and Warner, are two of the hardest hitting guys. I get to play them twice a year, so anytime I catch Kyler throws me something across the middle, I'm just praying one of those guys doesn't kill me. So
with the 49ers defense, just in totality, obviously those two guys, they're great. What do they bring in this game? What again, honestly, we do a lot of stuff here with Kansas City, a lot of Chiefs fans watching. What should we expect to see from the 49ers defense?
I think you should expect to see them they got to do something with Travis, right? They got to stop him. They got to slow him down, and whether that's chipping him, whether that's putting, pressing him up, you got to slow him down a little bit, and that's exactly what I expect him to do. He's a great player that can take over a game, and if those two can get rolling, it could be dangerous. So I expect them to try to shut him down for sure.
A lot of times when teams want to try to do that to a tight end like Travis Kelce, the Chiefs will put Kelce in motion, so that they can't get to him off the line. Do the Cardinals use you that way at all this year? And do you like that? Do you like to be in motion rather than being straight?
Yeah, it's definitely a huge advantage for us because we can motion across. We can kind of see if they're following us, if it's going to be man. You can kind of get an indicator of what they're going to do a little bit before they do it. Some teams do a great job of disguising stuff and things like that, but for the most part, you kind of know what you're going to get before. And to motion you and to get that, off press to make sure you can get a release, that's huge. And the Chiefs do a great job with that for Travis because he's always open for sure.
We got a comment here that I want to get to. Appreciate you, Savannah. It says, Trey's from Greeley, Colorado, went to Colorado State. Now he's in Phoenix, which is where Savannah lives as well. What do you think of living in the Valley of the Sun?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's a lot different than Colorado. I love Arizona. It's been phenomenal. I just bought a house there, so I'm
nice.
good now for good.
Putting some roots down there.
Yeah, putting some roots down there. No, it's phenomenal. Arizona's a great place. There's no better place to be in the winter. The winters there are phenomenal. You get sunny and 75 every day, and it's snowing back in Colorado. So there's no better place I'd rather be right now than Phoenix.
All right, so obviously the 49ers are y'all's rivals.
Yeah.
How do you expect the Chiefs to try to attack this 49ers defense? How did you guys try to attack?
The thing about this defense, man, is they're stacked from top to bottom. They got talent everywhere, right? Yeah. You got Nick Bosa on one side, and if you get lucky, you don't have to block him. You got Chase Young on the other side. He's a phenomenal player too. So you got two of the best linebackers inside with Greenlaw and Warner, so they're just a phenomenal team. But I don't really know what they're going to bring. They're going to, like I said, they're going to try to stop Travis. They're going to do something for him. But for me, it's just I'm excited to see these two tight ends go and compete, man. This is going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be a great matchup.
When you watch the game, are you just so hyper-focused on the tight end?
That's all I do,
You're like, I don't care where the ball is. I'm watching the tight ends.
That's how I watch football now, man. I find the tight end, and whatever he does, that's what I watch. If he's run blocking that play, I'm watching the guy run block for 6 seconds or whatever. So I just watch those guys and watch them get after it.
So your team 12, 13 personnel.
12, 13 for absolutely, man. That's how every team should play.
What was the transition like from college to the NFL? It seems like tight ends typically, obviously now there's been a little bit of change now. It takes a year, or in your case, some of it's opportunity, of course. Yeah. But like Hawkinson, for example, he's now one of the best tight ends in football, but it took him a few years to get there.
Yeah.
I always think that tight end is one of the hardest positions to really get a feel for. There's a lot that goes into it. What was that transition process like for you?
Yeah, for me, it's just that you jump from year one to year two is huge. You just get the speed of the game down, how everything runs. You kind of get a feel for the NFL, and then in year two, you kind of know what to expect. You kind of know what you're going to get yourselves into and things like that. So it's very cool, man. But like you said, a lot of it is opportunity as well. Having the opportunity to go out there and for Kyler to trust me to throw me 12, 13, 14 balls a game is another thing too.
It's also great for fantasy.
In your opinion, who is the GOAT tight end?
Yeah, there's so many. GOAT's a tough one, but I think Travis is doing it at a high level. You got Gronk, who's done there's so many great guys. But in my era, man, I love watching Gronk growing up, and then now it's Travis Kelce's just kind of running the show. He's so good. He gets open, and he does it at a very high level. So my era, man, it's probably those two guys that carry it.
How much do you like also Gronk, Kelce, and to an extent even Kittle? They're making tight end kind of the sexy position. Like, it's a lot more visual now. Like, I think back in the day, everyone knew Antonio Gates, Tony Gonzalez, obviously, right? But they didn't do it. Well, Tony G, obviously, now as far as his the stuff he does on air.
Yeah.
But in general, what's it like all of a sudden the tight end position has now become this very valuable position, the sexy position, the fun position?
Yeah, no doubt. I think that's how it should have been the whole time, But people are finally realizing, what tight ends can do. They're a matchup problem for defenses. You got guys who safeties can't come down on them. Linebackers are too slow. Things like that. So they're a nightmare matchup. And if you have a great tight end, man, you can help your offense win a lot of games.
Going up against a safety or a linebacker, what do you like better?
Probably a linebacker. Obviously they're a little bigger and stuff, but I usually have the speed advantage on those guys. So if I can get by them, it's usually but they're a little more physical than the safety. So you got to pick your battles for sure.
All right, we know you got some other tables to get to. Do you have a final score prediction for this one? Who's going to come out on top?
I'm actually pulling for the Chiefs, truthfully, because you don't want the in-division rival to win the Super Bowl. You never want that. So I'm pulling for the Chiefs, man. I hope it's a great game. I hope Travis Kelce and George Kittle both have 500 yards, man. That would be the best game ever, and no one else touches the ball, man. That would be pretty cool. But
awesome.
But other than that, man, I'm excited for these guys, and I hope the Chiefs pull it out.
Well, congrats on your season,
yeah,
Trey.
Thank you guys very much.
Thanks for coming by.
You, man. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah,
Take care.
It's Trey McBride, tight end, no longer a rookie. Yeah, absolutely. No longer a rookie.
Man, I'll say this too.
For the Cardinals.
If you don't know the name Trey McBride, because I get it, he played for Arizona, all that stuff, right? Know the name now, because Trey McBride is going to be one of the next really good tight ends in the NFL. The next iteration with the Hawkinsons, with the Sam Laportas, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a name that's going to be in there as well.
Hey, what's up, Rodney?
Hey, how you doing?
Patrick.
How you doing? Sterling.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Doing well.
We got Rodney McLeod here.
Yeah, and company.
This is Erica, yes? Hi, Erica. Patrick.
How are you?
Nice
Hi,
to meet you.
Sterling.
Thanks for coming by.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have those long arms, see?
That's a nice little bit of hardware you got on there.
Oh, appreciate it.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. How often do you bust that thing out?
Only on times like this.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it's not an everyday accessory. More a statement piece.
Yeah.
So when you come here to Super Bowl, you have to remind everybody of that moment.
What you did. I'll tell you what, man. It would be an everyday piece for me. I'd be wearing it in the bathtub, going to Starbucks, going to the grocery store. Yeah, I mean, I'd probably get robbed, but you know what I mean?
I was talking to a former teammate yesterday who won the Super Bowl with me, and they said they left their ring one time at a lady's house. So I was like, bro, no way you did that.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, she's loyal.
Yeah.
It's still
That's
still
on
was
eBay.
There. Yeah, right.
So you guys are here to talk. You've got a foundation, changeourfuture.org, correct? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we started Youth Foundation in 2020, and it was our opportunity to really fight a lot of the issues that our kids are facing in the communities, whether it was in Philadelphia or a city that Rodney served. But we wanted to make sure we hit on mentorship, leadership, how to build confidence, how to build skills, give them opportunities and experiences that they've never had before, but a relatability factor with Rodney and ourselves.
And I know you guys run this together. Erica, you have a big role. What are some of the challenges that come along with running Change Our Future?
Oh, that's me.
That's you.
There's this no. It's great. I mean, I think there's a lot of pressures, regardless, when you're running anything and you call it your baby and it's your passion. But it's juggling a lot. During the season, Rodney's extremely helpful, even though he has a busy schedule. It's getting on meetings, meeting new people, making partnerships. There's incredible people doing big things all across your neighborhood. It's connecting with them because a lot of us have the same passion to give back to the youth. And bring them through the ropes. So it's how do we work together? So I think that's the hardest part, is connecting with other genuine people that really want to serve the community.
Do you all apply for a lot of grants?
Yes,
It's the big process, right?
Yeah, we do. And that's an area of focus of ours going into 2024 is how do we diversify our funding, right? And make it a sustainable organization. And so those are some of the things that we're now starting to implement and make sure that we do apply for all of these grant opportunities that exist, because we're an organization that serves, the kids. And there are a lot of companies who believe in our next generation and want to, ultimately seek change the same way that we do.
I have to say thank you, because I lived in Philly when you won that Super Bowl.
Okay.
That was my
all right,
first.
where were you?
So I went down to City Hall.
Explain the scene.
Yeah. Went down
The
to
crime
City Hall.
scene.
And I drank a beer on City Hall. It was glorious. My first year I moved to Philly, I'm like, oh my gosh, good luck charm.
Yeah.
Then I moved to Kansas City. I moved back to Kansas City. First year I moved back, they win the Super Bowl. So I think I'm a good luck charm. So
Okay.
if anyone wants to, move me somewhere for free and you want your fan base to win, or your team to win, I think this is me.
You are the guy.
But I have to say thank you, because that was just so much fun, man. Obviously, as a player, what was that like? Just the grind that year is so special, man. I mean, the rallying behind Nick Foles. Carson Wentz goes down. I think everyone there, myself included, I go, Bryce, season's over.
Yeah.
Fun year.
Yes.
Season's over. But how was a team able to rally around? And of course, get it done over Tom Brady.
Yeah, it's a year of faith. That's exactly what it was. We had to really lean on our belief in one another, and I think that was formed early on. We had a deep connection for one another that allowed us to be able to overcome so many trials and triumphs that season, and to be able to still walk away the best in the world that year, says a lot about the men and the character and identity of that group. And so every time I put the ring on, I think it's just a reminder of everybody that contributed to this ring. And it truly was a special year, and the relationships that were formed that year didn't end in 2017 or 18. Like, we still have our Super Bowl DB group chat, that's still active, still connecting with guys, going to people's weddings and everything. I got my boy Jalen Mills getting married in a month that we're going to go see. So those relationships are forever. And that's what I cherish most about that year.
You think he's rocking the hair still for the wedding? You think he's going to have the
He's got the I don't think anything is changing. It's changing the color. That's him.
Yeah.
You're going to get what you get, and his lady, she loves him for it.
Favorite cheesesteaks in Philly? You have a favorite?
So after I arrived at Philly, I surely became a pescatarian, so I didn't get to indulge in so many. But in my short span of time there, I did like Ishkabibbles.
Ishkabibbles, yeah, right there. That's
and my family would echo that as well.
Yeah, I'd say the same. I mean, we both don't eat a lot of meat, so it's one of those things where it's Jim's, it's Pat's, you hear all the names, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to give it up one time and just try all of them.
D'Alessandro's too, like people like that.
D'Alessandro's
is
fire,
yeah. Yep.
Now, Rodney, as I understand it, were you the official red carpet reporter for the Browns last night at the NFL Honors?
So I missed my opportunity.
You missed it.
I missed it.
What happened?
We were late leaving here, so that affected us arriving to red carpet a little later. So I didn't have the time necessary to interview a few guys on the carpet, but I was looking forward to it. But got a lot of great, reactions from our outfits, which was good. But I did miss a grand opportunity to be able to, hear how some of the guys felt going into that night.
If you want to hang here, we got 3 mics. Now listen. So are you interested in a career in media maybe one day?
Yeah, I am. Trying to really leverage the environment here in the Super Bowl. So I've been doing just some street interviews with guys, very unscripted, fun, lighthearted. But just a way to get involved and continue to rehearse, right? Like it's practice, just like anything else. Repetition, makes for a better individual, better success, right?
Yeah. Are you playing next year? Are you trying to get into media next year? Do a little combo, Jason Kelsey style,
Yeah, I am doing a combination right now, taking on any opportunities that arise. I think that's why I ended up playing 12 years, is because every opportunity that struck, I always capitalized and was ready for it. So taking that same approach in media. But next year, I would love to return. Her lucky number's 13, so we're going to see. True. We're going to see what God has in store for us.
Awesome. Yeah, you were part of a ferocious Browns defense this year. What made you guys so dominant?
I think it really had a lot to do with again, the men that were placed into that locker room, the mindset that we all possess, and the willingness to put it all on the line for your brother. And you saw how fun the game was for us. And that feeling was also envied from a lot of other teams. Yeah. Because of the amount of celebrations, the way that we bonded, and then that just translated into us having great success this year. So, again, it reminded me a lot of Philly, just because of the amount of injuries that took place this year and how we never wavered. We didn't flinch. We just kept going. And that is just the resiliency of the entire team.
When Joe Flacco came in, it kind of is reminiscent because Nick Foles,
right? It was the same.
Were you just sitting here like
me and her? We're like Flacco.
Yeah.
Might might do it. He's giving us a lot of Nick Foles right now, and I'm liking what I'm seeing.
So playing for 4 different teams, how hard is that to try and get used to the scheme? I think a lot of times as fans, even media, we don't always adjust for guys, especially earlier on. I mean, you're just all of a sudden saying, oh, well, they were good here, but sometimes it's a different system, different scheme, obviously different coordinator. What is that like transitioning?
Yeah, scheme matters. It does matter a lot. The good thing about the game, there's especially a defensive player, there's only but so many coverages you can possibly run, but it's the way that certain coordinators construct their schemes. But I think the hardest is the language. You're still, a guy like myself who was in Philadelphia for 6 years, and then I go to Indianapolis, and we're running maybe a couple similar coverages, but the language, the code words that I would say, when I had to come down left and right, or we're working combinations, were different, and I found myself repeating what I was, what I was used to, because it's just ingrained in you. It's just a habit that was formed. So I think that's the most difficult part about it. Ultimately, is the language within each scheme, and then how it's also constructed a little bit.
Erica, when he comes home, is he talking in football talk? He's just giving you the coverages.
Not really. I mean, he is attached to his iPad and watching plays like all night long. But I love football too, so I'm probably asking more of the questions. Like, okay, so I sound good in the stands. Like, let me make sure I know what this is. Okay, we're in cover 2. We're like this. So
penalties and everything.
Oh yeah. So it's good when we watch games. At least I know what's going on.
Yeah, she's like 12 personnel's coming out. 12 personnel, watch out.
Rodney, I got to ask you. Did Flacco really fall asleep on the sidelines? And did you guys give him shit
No, he
for
did.
it?
He did hit the snooze button. He did. He did. You can't blame him. Right?
Yeah, I mean, he'd done his work for the night.
That's it.
But did you guys give it to him in the locker room when you saw that clip?
We did.
Yeah.
We did. And I mean, he embraced it. Flacco is an incredible teammate. We crossed paths in Philly for a short span of time. So seeing him back in the locker room was good. He took the crown, the oldest, in the locker room from me once he came in, so I was happy about that. But yeah, he's just an all-around great dude, great father, and man, he meant a lot to us this year, being able to step in and fill some big shoes, and have one of his best, games of his career. And down that stretch.
Have you ever nodded off on the sideline?
No, I never. No? I've never done that. I've never done that. I'm like I'm too locked in. Yeah. Like, people probably sometimes like, Rob, why are you so involved and looking in the offense? And that, it's just me. It's just me. Coach Rob for sure. Yeah.
Have you ever gone up against Gronkowski as he walks by right there? You ever have to lock it? I guess you would have also in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I think one of the first plays, they threw an over route to him. Classic Tom Brady, over the middle, about 15 yards. Had to make a touchdown saving tackle against him. But he's one of the best. As we know. The last play had a little bat down, but earlier in the game, though. Who
was the hardest guy you ever had to go up against? Was there a certain guy you played multiple times?
What skill group?
Yeah, to say, because it could be a little bit of anything, right?
Yeah,
receiver,
running back wise, Adrian Peterson, Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
Those were two in their prime, very hard to stop. And then I think on the receiver front, Antonio Brown, Odell, Julio Jones, all very impressive. So they're all dynamic in their own, and they create different areas of issues for you as a defender.
There were some really strong and stout defenses in the AFC this year. Obviously, the Browns, Baltimore was really good. What's your take on Kansas City's defense? I feel like they were a little underrated all season long. Then you see them go up against Buffalo, Baltimore in the playoffs and show out. Do you think those guys were underrated throughout the year?
I believe so, and I think that's been my focus on why I feel Kansas City will win, is because I think their defense now is no longer the question mark. They're the answer.
Yeah.
They've done it countless times throughout the season. Mahomes hasn't put up a 40-point games. When you look at it, it's 24-17. It's a grinded out type of game, and they're now comfortable in that new role. Whereas a couple years ago, you would say they're bend but don't break, right?
Totally.
You have a lot of worry about that defense. It's whoever has the ball last. But now you see them getting countless stops over and over again, similar to how they ended up here. They had to stop Lamar Jackson I don't know how many times, right? Because the Baltimore defense was stout. So I think they're up for the challenge, and like anything else, defense wins championships.
Would you ever consider going over to KC and playing for Steve Spagnuolo?
Steve Spagnuolo is a great coach. I think, I've seen a lot of players I know have great success in that scheme, but it's a winning environment, winning culture over there. So I think anybody would, if they had an opportunity to go over there and play with Mahomes, that's going to put you in the best chance possible to end up possibly with a ring.
You hear that, Brett Veach? Give this guy a call.
When it comes to Isaiah Pacheco and how he runs, when you see him, are you sitting there like, man, I do not want to tackle that?
Yeah,
I know you can't have that on the field, but like those high knees.
He runs explosive. He's a little jitterbug.
Yeah.
He always is moving forward, keeping his legs going, and he's been a very intricate part as to why they're also winning.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to him having a game himself. But, yeah, Pacheco's made a lot of splash in such a short period of time in this league.
Yeah.
All right, so you already told us you think the Chiefs are going to win. We haven't heard from Erica yet. Who you got in this one?
I also have the Chiefs, and unbiasedly without discussing it. But also, I hear the defensive scheme and how Rodney takes his play on it, but I think also it's that experience. I used the example earlier, like Brock Purdy, he's back. He made his comeback after that loss and being hurt and playing against the Eagles, right, last year. And now it's his time to shine, and there's a lot of light on him. What do you take? Is it the distractions from Super Bowl week, or do you take away, like, you're playing against a great, you're playing against, like, Tom Brady 2.0 right now, which is Mahomes, who always pulls out a touchdown some way. So I'm calling it the Chiefs.
Okay, you thinking about a career in media, too? You're
Brady
pretty good on the
2.0.
mic as well. Yeah.
I do like sometimes when I'm behind the mic, but we have different styles. Rod is very much so, like, podcast flow. He could keep going. He knows he's really good at interjecting, like in the conversational set. But me, I'm like, I can smile and wave. And
You guys got a podcast?
Nah, we don't. But
give us a call when you're done playing. We'll get you one up and running.
All right, say less.
do it.
Say less.
We
You
can
heard
have
it right here.
Yeah, appreciate
Everyone,
you guys coming by.
Go to changeourfuture.org. Changeourfuture.org. One more time. Everything you guys are doing is phenomenal. Can you give one more speech to everyone?
Yeah, I'd say Change Our Future. It's all about the kids. We're all about giving back, pouring into the minorities, the communities that need extra help, that don't have the experience and opportunities. Let them dream really big, because the world is their oyster, and it's just bringing someone along that can help them reach that goal. So.
Awesome message. Yeah.
Mic drop.
Drop that mic. Yeah. No, don't drop it. We got to pay for that. I appreciate y'all coming by. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it.
Thank you. Awesome.
Thanks, boss.
See you, man.
Great conversation. Take care, y'all.
Again, thanks for letting me drink a beer on City Hall because of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's.
Appreciate your good luck.
I appreciate that, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, y'all.
Contributed to the city, man.
All right.
You're forever loved.
Yeah.
Yes. See that? I contributed to the city. That's what we're counting that as.
The Chiefs fans aren't going to like all your Philly talk. I got to say.
I mean, come on. I'm just keeping it real. I'm just letting people know that it was I'm a good luck charm.
I got my head of content brain spinning, man. I think those two would be great on a podcast together, talking about the game, talking about some of the off-field stuff. Just real easy together, you know.
Is that Flavor Flav walking by? That's awesome.
Has he got the
Flavor Flav's walking by? He's got a great clock on.
It's kind of an understated clock.
You think he is here for Flavor of Love?
I don't know. I'm checking the pronunciation of our next guest's name because I want to get this one right.
Yeah, you're introing this one.
Atiato Abonia.
We got Richard walking over to give you advice here.
That's all right. Producer Richard making an appearance.
All right, everybody, let's do a little follow the dancing ball.
Okay.
Atito Abonia.
Abonia.
Atito Abonia. That's how I heard it from the draft video. So
okay.
that's my reference.
Abonia. See, what's going to happen though is when he comes over here, I'm going to panic, and I'm going to be like Tito Boni. Is what's going to happen.
Kadarius Toney.
Atito Abonia.
Atito
Abonia. See, this is not. You guys think this is easy up here, all right? By the way, the guy that's coming over here, Atito Abonia is a nose tackle for the Chargers. He is not going to be a small man. So if I were to mispronounce his name, there will be no tattoo.
6'4", 320.
Yeah.
You ready for that one?
What? How big?
6'4", 320.
No, I'm not ready for that.
You're closer to him.
I'm not ready for that.
Have fun.
Atito Abonia. That's not bad, right? Atito Abonia. Atito Abonia, nose tackle for the Chargers. I am totally
you just made Richard very happy.
I'm going to blow it. I know I'm going to blow it.
Okay, guys, we are at $865 donations for Special Olympics.
I don't like it.
865. Malcolm's back there. He's thrilled.
I don't
Malcolm,
like it.
You getting excited? Malcolm, get that camera on my guy Malcolm.
Malcolm, have you heard this? I said that I made a mistake, Malcolm. I shouldn't have said what I said.
We are again donating for a special cause. It's for Special Olympics, and if we get to $1,000 in donations,
and the Chiefs win,
they're gonna win. The Patrick's getting a tattoo. So, what was the tattoo again?
Well, they said I have to get a Joker tattoo because that was my call sign. That was the deal. I don't feel like I specified what kind of Joker tattoo I would get.
Kadarius Toney. Like his face, because he is the Joker.
The Pat Mahomes Joker tattoo.
What about
I feel like
Batman Joker?
I feel like this is my choice. If I have to go through with this, I feel like I get to get whatever size, whatever style tattoo that I want, since it'll be on my body for the rest of my life. I'll be able to set an example for my son as well.
I disagree with this.
About what not to do, what bets not to make. And then if you're going to make a donation bet, go higher than $1,000. Go $100,000. It's it is what it is. I said what I said, and we'll see how it all plays out here. But I really think we should just start talking about it, to be perfectly honest with you, and stop putting the word out about this. All right.
No, I think we need it. It's for a good cause, Patrick. Why? Do you not want people to give to charity?
Of course I want people to give Special Olympics.
I think this is
but it should not be at my expense, is all I'm saying. They should have been giving
in this situation.
People should have been giving already because it's a great organization that does a lot of good. I'm just saying. So who we got coming up here? Aside from Atito Abonia from the Chargers. I know when I mispronounce it when he comes up, Richard's going to boo. I don't know if I got it right. Atito Abonia.
I'm just more intrigued by what the Jets owner, Woody Johnson, said about the team.
Yeah.
Basically,
he just threw Zach Wilson under the bus, drug him out from under it, and then threw him under there again.
Yeah. Speaking to reporters, Johnson listed team needs for the offseason. When it was suggested that a backup quarterback should be in the list, he agreed, saying, quote, "You need a backup quarterback. We didn't have one last year." Big yikes.
Not cool. No, I mean, look, he's an owner. He's got lots of money. I guess you can say stuff when you do that. Hasn't stopped Jera over the years from speaking his mind. But, yeah, that's pretty rough. So, again, we've got Atito Abonia coming up from the Chargers, nose tackle for them at some point, maybe. It's – Yeah. We'll see him coming.
We'll probably see him coming. I mean, this he is. If you are 6'4", 320, I mean.
And then we're gonna have another tight end from the Saints, Juwan Johnson, and his wife, Chanen Johnson. I might need a pronunciation on that too, Richard. Chanen. I think that seems pretty straightforward. Chanen Johnson, and they're gonna be here on behalf of Verizon. So we've kind of gotten lucky in that we've got this game with two marquee tight ends, and we've had lots of tight ends come through, both current and former players, to kind of give us their perspective on the position.
100%, but I'm feeling like old man right now, like almost like dad mode. Patrick's been leaning back in his chair, and I want to just yell, dude.
Making you nervous?
Can't. Yes.
I'll go right through.
It's bad on the chair legs. I don't care that they're plastic. I'm going to say what every dad's ever said to kids who lean back in their chair. It's bad on the legs.
Yeah, but because I'm an old man, I've got a bad back.
You're going to fall directly
right into the Arrowhead Addict.
The Arrowhead Addict thing. I'm shaking him right now. I'm shaking him like a Polaroid picture.
Yeah, we're down to our last two guests. Sterling, what do you think, man? I mean, should we Should we start getting into our prediction for the game here? Is now the time? Do you want to save it for the end?
I don't know, Patrick. I
don't know, Jim. I don't know. It's Patrick Mahomes, and it's Brock Purdy, and it's George Kittle, and it's a touchdown. I think it was pretty good.
I was going to keep letting you go on that little Romo rant.
Romo.
All right,
Romo.
what do you think? Prediction time?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Why don't you kick us off?
No, you go first.
You're making me go first.
Yeah.
I'm worried about this one. I'm not going to lie. I'm not as confident as Matt Connor. You know, I do think, though, top to bottom, a lot of people have said that the Niners have the better roster, and I don't agree with that. I think the Niners have a lot of splashy names. I'm not saying the Niners don't have a good roster. They have an excellent roster. They're in the Super Bowl. But when you think about the Niners and you're like CMC and Ayuk and Kittle and obviously Brock Purdy's got a lot of play this year, you know, you hear a lot of these guys, and when you hear about the Chiefs offense, it's like Rashee Rice, nobody really knows outside of Kansas City. They don't really know who he is yet. Isaiah Pacheco isn't really a household name at the running back position just yet. You've got Travis Kelce, you've got Patrick Mahomes, but Tyreek Hill's gone, and people think that this Chiefs team is weaker, and if they were casually paying attention to them during the regular season, they were not playing well, especially if you tuned in on Christmas Day. You probably think these guys are frauds, but you're wrong. You're wrong. And so in this one, I've got the Chiefs. I actually think it's going to be a little bit higher scoring than most people think. In this one, I got the Chiefs 31, Niners 27. I think it's going to be a tight game. But in the end, I think experience and coaching is going to will out for the Chiefs.
Man, that's a lot higher scoring than I think. I'm going to go 23-17 Kansas City. I think 23-17. It's going to be a close game, I think.
Low scoring.
The Chiefs will get it done because they have 15 end of the day. You know,
that's right, 15.
You know, all the talk about Brandon Ayuk and CMC and weapons. I think this defense is so good, and again, I don't think the Niners are necessarily a great schematic matchup to face Kansas City. I think the Chiefs have the advantage at they can take away what the Niners do well. Can the Niners take away what the Chiefs do well? I don't quite think so. Now, a little different. Fred Warner, he's going up against Travis Kelce. You might be a little intrigued by that. You're right. Fred Warner, best linebacker in football, but Kyle Hamilton was the best safety in football and got torched by Kelce.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here going, that's great and all. You might be a stud. The issue is the dude on the Chiefs side is a bigger stud.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Travis Kelce, man. I mean, it's not like he hasn't gone up against the best of the best year after year after year. Is this our guy? How you doing, man? How you doing,
Sterling?
How you doing, Sterling? Juwan.
Nice to meet you, Juwan.
All right, Juwan. Thank you.
It's tight end central up in here.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, you just have to walk around all your tight end you guys.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I'm seeing a lot of fellas in here, dapping them up, congratulating them on a year. So yeah.
And we have Chanen with you, right? Did I pronounce your name correctly?
Chanen.
Chanen.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm just passing it to you.
I was asking our producer. I was like, look this one up for me because I want to make sure I get it right, and I blew it. Who you guys out here working with today?
Yeah, so we're here working with Total by Verizon.
Yeah, we're here with Total by Verizon. They have their first Super Bowl ad. Really exciting. It's going to be on the Univision telecast for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's really cool because it's all prepaid, so it makes it really economically, helpful.
A lot of commercial gonna be dope too.
Yeah, the commercial will be cool. It's a Suave Mente twist.
We like a little dancing and stuff like that. So yeah, and obviously a lot of guys who are rideshare drivers are going to be able to get their car washed for free, and that's going to be super dope. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. When you look at this upcoming matchup as a tight end, obviously, you see Kittle, you see Kelce.
Right.
What is that like for you? Because you're going to be so probably hyper focused on those two guys.
Yeah.
They're currently right now.
Yeah.
You'll get there, but right now,
no doubt.
The two top tight ends in football right now.
Definitely.
What's that like for you watching the Super Bowl with these guys?
I definitely don't take any offense because those are the guys who are at the top of their, the top of the position right now. Those guys are playing well, extremely high. These guys do it with class. They don't, badmouth anybody. They honestly just do it with so much class and grace. And so, Travis is, obviously an older guy, and George is getting up there, but those guys are still playing at such a high level. And then blocking their butts off. Like, people see Travis, like, he blocking his butts off. You see him last game getting his hands dirty. And I love that. So I'm really excited for both guys to, do the thing.
As a talented pass catcher yourself at the position, what is it that makes Travis Kelce so special and so deadly to a defense?
I just think the experience that he has, but he's so keen into what the defense is doing. And that's something that younger guys don't know. If you don't know what the defense is doing, you can't sit in zones. You can't set up certain, releases or set up certain routes like you can. But Travis has been doing it for a long time, man. He's been doing it at a high level for so many years, having 1,000-yard years after 1,000-yard year, and you wonder why. Because he knows what's going on in defense. And so that's something that, I try to look at when we're going to tight end U camps and stuff like that. That's why it's so crucial to go there, because you learn from him, you know what he's doing, and, he's just doing big things.
What is tight end U like? What are those camps actually like?
Yeah, they're fun. I mean, she was always wondering why. She was like, what are you doing over there? But,
I was pregnant when he went, so I didn't get to go. I was, about to pop. But I was like, man, I feel like I have FOMO right now.
Yeah, so you have, the wives there and stuff like that. You bring the girlfriends, and, we all have a good time after, we do the work and we do the classroom, we're doing all that other stuff. And so, we all have a good time afterwards, and everybody's asking, where's Shan? Where's your wife? And I'm like, well, she's about to pop in 2 minutes. But she allowed me to go over there just to have a good time with the fellas. And so, it was just good to, like I said, be in the classroom, run some routes, and just have a good time.
Now, when I was doing my research, and we've interviewed a lot of people, so forgive me if I got this one wrong. Did you guys just have a child just recently?
We did.
We had one 7 months ago.
7 months
ago?
ago?
Yeah, she's 7 months.
Oh.
She's actually yesterday. She turned 7 months old, and we missed it.
Yeah. So, okay, my wife is 6 months pregnant with our first. You guys got any advice for me? Because I'm right behind you here.
Okay.
I'm starting to freak out a little bit.
Give us some advice.
Dad advice. You need dad advice.
Okay, dad advice. My bad. Honestly, it is. I honestly want you to go into it kind of blind, because honestly, having a baby is probably the most exhilarating, exciting things you're ever going to probably have in your life. Yeah. And it's going to be so good. It's going to be so transformative for you. You're going to find a love that you never had before. It's going to be different from your wife's love. It's going to be different from any other love in sports or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
It's going to be so special. And you're always going to want to take care of that baby and hold that baby with so much precious possession.
I'm excited. How am I going to get sleep? It's just that's not on the table.
Well, it depends. I got sleep.
Yeah,
Shannon allowed me to get some.
Well, you had the
sort
season
of
going
sleep,
on,
right?
so.
That's the only reason he got sleep.
Yeah.
But now, if it happened now, no.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're not going to get much sleep, but I'm not going to lie. You're going to find a different strength in yourself.
Yeah.
And that's something that no parent that's not somebody that's not a parent will never understand.
It's fantastic.
You will find it. You will find it.
I'm excited, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So tell us what's the hardest part about playing tight end in the NFL?
Yeah. I feel like the hardest thing, well, I feel like for her, the hardest thing about me playing is that she doesn't know what's going on. Like, she doesn't understand, was your block good or was your block bad?
Yeah.
She doesn't know. And so, but I feel like the hardest thing for me, at least going into it, was just, understanding blocking and running concepts. I knew nothing about run concepts. I just, what is a jab counter? Yeah. What is a power? I had no idea. But just me investing my time and stuff like that, learning to run schemes and stuff like that. I think that was the biggest thing for me, because passing, I can do whatever. You can put me at any position, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But in terms of just the run stuff, I had no idea, and I had to take a lot of time, a lot of hard work to get to it.
You've been really good in the red zone in your career.
Yeah.
Why do you think you've been so solid there? Because obviously, I think the Chiefs, for example, they've actually struggled this year a lot in the red zone. They've stalled out, but you find success. Why are you so good when the field shrinks down?
It's my mentality. It's definitely my mentality. I feel like going into it, it's just when you get past 25 yards and in, I'm thinking this is my touchdown, and this is me. This is what I go into it. And even before the season started, she was like, all right, well, I just want you in the red zone. It doesn't matter where you feel. I just want you to, because that's where touchdowns come from, and that's where she can celebrate and have a good time.
Yeah.
But honestly, when I get to the red zone, I know that's me. Guys love big bodies. Derek loves big bodies in the red zone. He just wants guys to make plays.
Yeah. Chanen, you were an athlete as well in college, right? You were a gymnast?
I was, yes.
What were your best events?
I did all 4, vault bars being floor. I definitely starred in bars. That was my thing. But yeah, all 4. It was really cool.
My sister did gymnastics too. She was kind of tall. She always had a tough time with the bars.
Yeah.
Did you run into that? How tall are you?
I did. Okay, so I'm 5'10" right now, but when I graduated college, I was 5'6".
Oh, wow.
Gymnastics stunted my growth.
Oh, man.
So, I mean, 5'6" is still pretty tall for a gymnast. I'm not going to lie. Most of my teammates were 4'9", 5 feet tall.
So you grew 4 inches after college?
I did.
That's crazy. How does it stunt your growth?
I think it's all the pounding on the body. I think it's
Yeah.
just like, and then just gymnastics is such a high-intensity sport, puberty and all that really doesn't hit until after. So I think a lot just happens.
Do you miss it?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. This year is the Olympics, so I'm like, get to get back into it a little bit.
It gives you good fitness foundation, though, right? That you can take with
Totally.
you
I
for the
think
rest of
every
your life.
child should. That's my tip. Parent tip. Pro tip.
I've heard a lot about that, about boys and girls, like when they're young,
Everyone.
start them in gymnastics and like wrestling and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, cool. All right, so Juwan, who do you think has the edge in this game? Two really good teams here. You got the young, up-and-coming quarterback.
Yeah.
You got, GOAT 2.0
Yeah.
and Mahomes.
Yeah.
Who are you liking in this one?
I don't know necessarily who I'm going to go with, but I will name out the highlights of each team. I will say that the 49ers have a juggernaut of a squad, a juggernaut of a roster, both top to bottom, from quarterback all the way down to the kicker. Like, they have a pretty solid team. And I will say, from the Chiefs' point of view, they've been here. They've been here so many times. And if Mahomes wins another Super Bowl, that's 3 for him, I think. That's 3. And him and Travis. And it doesn't matter who, it doesn't matter who Patrick Mahomes has on the outside. He just always makes it work. Like, I had no idea. If he had told me 2 months ago that the Chiefs going to be in the Super Bowl, I would have said no. There's no way. But here they are in the Super Bowl, about to get a third championship. Third Super Bowl under Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. How did that play go down? With Jameis Winston. I don't know. Were you in the huddle at that point, giving it to
You're asking about that play.
with Jamal?
You get people in trouble here.
I'm not trying to get anyone in trouble. But
man!
I just thought it was interesting.
No,
Then you hear Jameis, and we agree as a team. And it is kind of cool to see at least a team say, what,
definitely.
we want to do it for our guy. We want our guy to get this.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to give you the backstory of some of it. I think I was supposed to be in. I told Jimmy Graham earlier. I was like, well, this is our last game, so you might as well go in and finish it out. But I was in a way kind of joking because we were just about to kneel it.
Sure.
So he went out there, and I was like, what are we in? And they were like, yeah, we're in like victory formation.
Yeah.
So I was going out there. I was like, no, come out. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to step out. And so we're in victory formation. And, Jamal hasn't scored all year. I mean, he had the most touchdowns from any running back last year. Mm-hmm. And now he doesn't have not one. Yeah. And we've been talking about this, like, going into the last game. I'm just like, man, Jamal doesn't have not one touchdown. And yeah, man, so, we're at the 1. I don't think it would have made a difference if Tyron – because before that, Tyron had picked it off and brought it down to the 1.
Yeah.
And so we're at the 1, and from my recollection, like, everybody was saying, like, yeah, we're gonna score. And obviously on the other side, the Atlanta was like, are you guys about to run it in? And nobody said nothing.
So they were asking?
They were asking, like, are y'all about to run it in? And nobody said nothing. And then that's what happened. But honestly, it's always going to be a team decision. Like,
sure.
The guys in the huddle, like, we all love Jamal. That's one thing. Like, Jamal is probably one of the most selfless teammates that I've been around, aside from Jameis. And honestly, like, getting him the ball, like, I was down with it. Like, I was riding with that 100%. And so anybody that say, like, yeah, we should have nailed it, nah, you got to stop it. Like, at the end of the day, like, we always play till, every at the clock hit zero.
The clock zero.
Yeah,
do you think you should have came out in like a regular formation so the guys knew what you were going to do?
Yeah, we should have, but we didn't. I mean, you can't look back and say, like, oh, yeah, we should have did this. But the thing is like, going into it is just kind of like, all right, we're in victory. But, when all is said and done, it's just like, let's get Jamal to rock. Like,
get him a touchdown.
He ain't scored all year, man. So let's give him the rock.
Yeah.
And honestly, from the sideline, I'm just like, I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Because everybody was hype on the sideline. It's not like everybody was like, whoa, what's going on? Everybody was hype.
Well, that's what it was. It was a team rallying around
Definitely.
for him. This
Definitely.
was for
Definitely.
Jamal Williams. So I thought it was a really
and we don't like Atlanta as is. So
right.
And it's just like icing on the cake.
Double whammy right there.
Like a double whammy.
Yeah. Derek Carr, what is it like with him? Obviously, Derek Carr, Raider for a long, long time. What is he like as a leader? What is he like as a quarterback down there?
He's like a leader I've had before. He's a little bit like Justin Herbert in ways. Like, he's not like a rowdy guy, but he is like a silent assassin in some ways. And that's something that I love about Derek. Like, there's so many things to leaders that people really don't know. And he's a great guy. He's a great believer, and I always like talk to him about everything. And that's one of the guys. He's very approachable. He's not like a guy that, you can't talk to him all the time. You can talk to him about anything. And that's something, guy, like, you got to have. And he's dealt with a lot this year.
Yeah.
Dealt with criticism, dealt with the boos. He dealt with injury.
He was banged up, right?
And he was banged up, and he still managed to do his thing this whole year.
Yeah, we have a lot of respect. We have a lot of Chiefs listeners, Chiefs fans. But I think a lot of us, we all have a lot of respect for Derek Carr, even though there was a rival for the longest period.
No doubt.
I found myself rooting for him when he went to New Orleans.
Yeah.
It was just because he was rocking the black and silver.
No doubt.
But there's just certain guys you're like, he's a good dude.
Yeah.
He's been through a ton. Also,
no doubt.
when in Las Vegas.
No doubt. No doubt.
I'm rooting for his and obviously New Orleans success as well. So
and it'll all work out. And that's one thing that I will tell people. Like, I'm always riding with Derek. Like, Derek is my guy. And I think, people don't give him enough credit for the things that he does, aside from all the things that he goes through.
Yeah.
Like, he still manages to show up on Sunday and do his thing no matter what.
Yeah. Is there a player that you idolized growing up, or a tight end that you modeled your game after?
Yeah. Well, at first I didn't model any game after a tight end because I was a receiver first.
Receiver, yeah.
But I would say I love Calvin Johnson. That's somebody that I love, growing up, just how fast he was, how big he was, how consistent he was, and he just would grab anything in his vicinity. So I loved Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, man.
when did the transformation from wide receiver to tight end happen?
Yeah.
When was that? When was that going?
When my wife was making all the good food, that's when it happened. That's like literally, that's when it happened. But yeah, man. I mean, I had so much weight on me, and I was like, man, like I can't not eat because I just felt like just my body was growing kind of fast.
Sure.
And so they told me like, yeah, man, if you gain some more pounds, we got to put you at tight end. And then in that night, we started eating. I was like, yeah, we eating. We trying to go to tight end. And the next off season, that's what happened. I moved to tight end.
So Chanen, are you the cook in the family?
I am.
Yeah. What's his favorite dish that you make?
He loves the Mexican food I make. I'm Mexican, so he obviously loves that. But yeah, he had never had Mexican food until the day he met me.
Okay.
Oh, like from Jersey, you don't really have Mexican food.
I guess you're right. Yeah. What part of Jersey?
I'm from South, so I'm right next to Philly. So you're gonna get more Italian. Like you're gonna get more Italian cheesesteaks. Like you're gonna get silly. Like we don't do like Mexican food.
Crazy.
What's your go-to? What do you make? And what
He
kind?
loves the tacos. Tacos. For sure. Oh yeah.
So she makes like the shell herself. Like she makes.
Really?
So she makes the shell. She puts it in oil and she flips it, makes it a certain way. And I'm all for that. Like I'm all for that. Like I don't want to
Pre-made shells.
I don't want you to go to the store get your shell. Like I want them things made.
Yeah.
Corn or flour?
I do corn.
Yeah.
Yep, because I like to make the typical like hard shell taco.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Corn's the way to go.
Yes.
As
yes.
a man who I make a lot of enchiladas myself.
Oh,
so
period.
yeah.
Love a good
Just
enchilada.
had some. Your dad just made some.
Yeah, my dad made some.
He just made some right before we left.
Real quick before you guys go, tell us one more time about the work that you're doing with Verizon.
So we're working with Total by Verizon, and so we're so excited about it because it gets to help a lot of people, and they're.
Honestly, my favorite thing right now is the fact that they're doing the car wash. Did we mention that? They're giving free car washes for all rideshare drivers, which is amazing.
That's honestly amazing.
Yeah, it's so cool because it's intense here right now. Super busy and crazy. Yeah, we told y'all, but it's a twist on Suavemente, so we're excited about that. Yeah. It's their first Super Bowl commercial, so that's really exciting too. Obviously, it's super affordable and convenient because it's prepaid. Yeah. We're about to record a fun little TikTok doing a little twist on the dance, so we'll show y'all. You'll have to check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming by and enjoy the game. You guys going?
Absolutely.
We are.
Yeah.
We will be.
Nice to meet you.
We'll be there.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you guys.
All right. Fist pumping. All right.
I don't have the long arms. See that's why I couldn't be a
good luck
receiver.
next season,
Couldn't
Juwan.
be a receiver.
Yeah.
I could be a tight end. I could, maybe a cornerback.
Juwan and Chanen Johnson working with Verizon. Check out the 30-second Spanish ad that's going to air during Univision's first ever Spanish telecast of this year's big game. They're not allowed to say.
You can't say it. It's the big game.
Can't say it. It's the big game. Are you going to the big game, Sterling?
No, I'm not, Patrick. You just rubbing it in my face. Are you kidding me?
I mean, you're out here trying to get me
tattoos.
tattoos.
Are you going to the big game, Patrick?
Yeah.
Gosh.
So
I'm mic drop this and leave.
We're good? This is it? This is the Arrowhead Addict podcast, live from Radio Row. We've been here all week. It's Friday. The Super Bowl is Sunday. Sterling, this is our last show. This is the last moments of the Arrowhead Addict podcast.
I have a lot more
before
radio.
It all goes down.
You do. I have a lot.
You're going to transition to Stag in the Box, but for the Arrowhead Addict podcast, this is it. We have gotten our predictions in. Now, you're going to be on the post-game show, correct?
I think pre, half, and post.
Yeah.
Busy man.
Sterling will be on the post.
You're going to have fun drinking beers at the
I'm not
Super
sure. I'll be
Bowl.
working. I will be at the game with our Special Olympics correspondent, Malcolm Harris-Scotty, will be at the game covering it. We'll be there afterwards, so I'm not going to be on the show, unfortunately. I might try to pull out some video. If I'm able to get my phone out and sneak into the production afterwards, I definitely will, to let you know what I'm seeing on the ground at the Super Bowl. But I just want to say one more time, all season long, you guys have been absolutely incredible. This is what we've all worked for and hoped for all season long. The Chiefs in the Super Bowl with a chance to go back-to-back. So make sure you enjoy the weekend, okay? When you get off work today,
donate money.
Donate money to Special Olympics.
To Special Olympics.
Go buy some good barbecue. Plan the weekend out. Enjoy your Saturday. Watch Chiefs highlights. Do all that stuff. Listen to the Arrowhead Addict podcast. Go back and watch all the interviews we did this week. Soak it up. Buy some Super Bowl stuff. You don't know if they're going to win. You don't know if they're going to lose. And you don't know when they'll be back. But make sure you enjoy it, because you never know. All right, for a Starlight
And what else
Holmes
you
is
need
going
to
back to the
enjoy.
camera.
What you need to enjoy.
If you're listening.
Donate to Special Olympics, okay? Final pitch. If we get to $1,000,
If you're
this
listening
man
on audio, Sterling
over my shoulder, Patrick
doing a
Allen,
pitch right into the
is
camera.
gonna get a tattoo.
Trying to ruin my life.
Put some ink. I don't want to say the word that rhymes with it. Put some ink
These guys are
on his
going
ass.
real hard
We
on
need
me.
this. It's
Real
for
hard
a
on me.
good cause, for charity. Picture Sarah McLaughlin behind me. Come on. You want to see him
I
get a
don't like
tattoo.
this.
Thank you for your kindness,
isn't
for
good.
your support. Until next time, we are out.
Go Chiefs.